And we are live. How's it going, everyone? And welcome to our weekly NASCAR live stream. I am your host this week, Eric Estepp, joined as always by Jarrett Lundberg from the Iceberg, Darian Gilliam from Black Flags Matter, and Danny B over there from Danny B Talks. And this week we are super excited to be joined by NASCAR legend and Hall of Famer, Mr. Bobby Allison. It's an honor to get to speak to you, Mr. Allison. How are you tonight, sir?
How are you guys? And I'm doing pretty good. Just finished up a test with Taylor Strickland here at Hickory Speedway.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, well, I know we're all really excited to get to talk to you. I know the four of us have a few questions planned, but we also have some suggestions from viewers. So I feel like we should just get started. I know we all know you've been around the sport as long as anyone. You've seen it go through a lot of changes, I'm sure. How do you feel about the current state of NASCAR and about the way it's evolved to this point?
Well, they're working really hard trying to make up for the little glitch that they've gone through here lately. You know, they've lost some ground here lately, but they're still working hard trying to get there. So hopefully they'll figure out what the mistakes they've made and correct it.
I had a person I met at Chicago, and one of the drivers, he wanted to know about your rivalries with both Cale Yarborough and then also Dale Earnhardt.
Okay, with Cale, you know, didn't have much of a rivalry, really. Cale was a loner. You know, we said hello once in a while at the racetrack. You know, he came in by himself or with his own group, and they kept himself at the track. We had a little skirmish there at Daytona then in '79. That was the reaction just where, you know, he let his emotions run away and he smacked me in the face with his helmet. And when he did, I had to respond to it. And so my part of the story is he kept beating on my fist with his nose. So that got over with, and you know, we went on our way, and NASCAR collected a whole bunch of fans and money and so forth from our antics, and they even fined us. You know, so you know, they made a double profit hit on this thing. But Dale and I get along okay, and Dale Earnhardt Sr. and I were friends. We didn't have any on-track runners to speak of. You know, we were up teams a little bit, but we didn't have any kind of a problem out on the racetrack as far as confronting each other.
That's really interesting, because I know a lot of people have always said how it was, you know, kind of Dale versus the world with a lot of it. So it's really interesting hearing from a driver like that raced against him, like your perspective. So.
Well, he demanded respect, and people that he didn't get the respect out of. You know, he was a bit rough. He bumped and banged, and he ran into people some, and some of those guys had a problem, and you know, lost control and crashed and did all those kind of things. But we were up a little bit, but we didn't get any big crashes.
All right, now Bobby, I'm gonna ask you a question here. Now, you know, back in when you was racing, a lot of people would say that you would have been part of like a big three back then. Today in NASCAR, we're kind of seeing a new big three with Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. Have you had any thoughts on the way that is going on this season? A lot of people that I've seen online have been saying how they don't like to see that, but at the same time, I think it's rather unique that, you know, a lot of times back then you did see a lot of good guys who could win a lot of races back then.
Yeah, the racing has gotten better, and certainly Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. are all added to that. All three of them have been a little bit quick to put the bumper on somebody else, but just a little bumper, not a big bumper.
So I guess my question is it also has to do with the current state of the sport right now. A lot of fans are very divided as far as, the way the point system is now with this whole playoff format, the winning you're in, 16 drivers in the playoffs. I think I would consider myself more old school. I more so prefer a consistent point system. And as a Hall of Famer yourself who raced in that era, just what are your thoughts on the current point system we have now?
Well, an awful lot of us didn't really like the old school. We did a little bit of bumping and rubbing, and we did a little bit of work on our own cars and those kind of things. And modern technology has come in, and it caused all that to not be as available for the drivers and teams to pick up like we did and try to make the cars better and stuff like that.
Do you think all of the new technological changes, do you think that's a good thing for the sport, or do you prefer the more old school way, like what you grew up doing?
Okay, repeat that for me one more time, please.
Sorry. Do you like the fact that there's a lot more technology in the sport today, or do you think would you prefer it to still be kind of more the way it used to be, the old school way?
I prefer the old way. The hammer and chisel technology was good for me.
Well, going along with that, what was it that kind of inspired you to get into NASCAR, and what was really the deciding factor for you to start and go racing?
Oh, I was a race fan from a little tiny kid. My grandfather lived us when we were growing up in Miami, and he took me to the races at the Opelika Speedway when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. And I got hooked on it right then. And then through school, I remained a fan. And then my senior year of high school, they built Holiday Speedway and then started an amateur division. And so I drove my school car out to the racetrack and my racing career started.
All right, now Bobby, throughout your career, you drove a lot of different cars. You won a lot of races in different cars. You won a lot of races as an owner. Over time, certainly from the time you stepped out of the car, the cars have changed a whole lot since then. Like, what have been your thoughts seeing the cars develop over time, going from the cars we've seen in the early 2000s to the car of tomorrow to this current platform we see today?
Well, I moved around a lot because I always was searching for a car that suited me better. And, of course, I had a little disagreement with some of those car owners. The equipment made me change rides a lot and get fired some and quit some and all that kind of thing. Tell when the cars is going by. Anyway, I really, I felt like I put my whole heart and soul into the thing. Those guys that made this that possible.
It's all right.
We appreciate you taking this call out at a racetrack. That can be tough to communicate.
Nope. I can't even hear you.
Well, do you guys have any more questions?
I certainly don't want to interrupt in the test session there, Mr. Allison.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to take up too much more of your time, Mr. Allison. Thank you again so much for taking the time to talk with us. I know a lot of new fans like hearing someone like your perspective. Obviously, a Hall of Famer. That means a lot coming from you. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
I'm not hearing a word from you.
Yeah.
Here, I'll take over.
Yeah, you can take over, Jared. Go ahead and sign off.
Go ahead and thank him for us.
Yeah.
If the test is going on right now, we can just cut it from here. Oh, here goes another car. So, is there anything really quick that you would like to promote?
I don't even know if he can hear you.
Wow, yeah.
I would just go ahead and thank him for coming on.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank you a lot for coming on, Mr. Allison.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's some bad timing right there.
I mean, I like hearing race cars, but I know it's unfortunate we can't really say goodbye.
Yeah, you guys fill the crowd in on what's going on now.
Yeah, that's not a car night.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, so we just asked maybe a few more questions really quick, and then if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. One of our fans also wanted to ask, what was your favorite track to race at?
What was the last question one more time, please?
What was your favorite track to race at throughout your career?
My favorite of all the big goals I've ever done had to be Charlotte. Success. I even bought one of those condos that they had there in turn one.
You guys go.
Okay, I'm back with you. Thanks.
Okay. So I guess that pretty much it. I got my questions in. Do either of you guys have another question for him? I'm trying to get my thoughts here.
Oh yeah, so as a Hall of Famer yourself, I just wanted to get your opinions on NASCAR's Drive for Diversity program. What are your thoughts on that?
All right, listen. I'm gonna have to get off of this thing, guys. I'm sorry this happened, but I gave it a try.
Okay.
You guys go and have a good show, okay?
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Allison.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah. That the first half of that went so well. And
It
then,
went so well.
Certainly no reason to be disappointed, guys. That was a very wonderful experience. As quick as it was, Mr. Allison is still a busy man. Even at his age, you can see he's still out there being involved in motorsports, doing a test session out at Hickory Motor Speedway.
yeah.
And the fact that he would even take the time out of that to talk of us means a lot, and we're very grateful for that. Thank you, Mr. Allison. Don't know if he'll be able to have a chance to go back and watch this, but we appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
How do I sound? I know I
I'm
had
sorry,
to
I
put
just
up
think
my
that's
gain a
so-
lot.
Oh yeah, dude, I think that's so
Am I-
hilarious.
Am I cutting out for you guys too? Because I know there's a little.
You sound fine.
Little
man.
bit.
You're fine for me. I just want to say, I know we've missed a bunch, but Sean Doxwell gave a $1.99 super chat to you. Thank you very much, there, Sean.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
I know there's been a couple other ones, and sorry we missed you. We was
Yeah.
trying to make things work out to talk with Mr. Allison, but we
Yeah.
appreciate anyone who's donated to the stream tonight.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I'll go back and look at it at the end for sure. But yeah, again, big thanks to Mr. Allison for joining us. I thought a couple things he said there, especially about racing with Dale, was very interesting. And I know we got cut short practice session. You guys know, any of you guys who've been to a racetrack, even a big track, you can't talk when those cars are out there. So we appreciate him doing his best. I mean, we got a good 10 minutes out of it, so that's not too bad. So now we can sit back, relax, because I know I was a little tense. Anytime you're getting to talk to a legend, I was feeling pretty tense.
That's
you
so
sit back,
funny.
relax for a couple
I think at this point, we're all just we're gonna relax, go to sleep here.
Yes.
And thanks for coming on the stream here tonight, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
the sleep stream. It's the sleep stream now.
Maybe it's from my end, but I know I kept hearing a lot of roboting, so it might just be from my end.
He came through okay. I mean, a little muffled.
No, I'm talking on here.
Oh, okay.
I believe that's
yeah.
just on your end.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, but no, that was awesome, and I've talked to him a few times leading up to this. It's just he's a wonderful person. Like if any of you in here with us or with me right now, and then anyone in the chat, if you get the opportunity to meet him, he's an amazing person. And the fact that he took time out of his day without shows what a good man he is. So
Hey, real quick before we progress anymore, happy birthday to you.
Come on.
Happy birthday to you.
Cha cha cha.
Happy birthday to Darian. Happy birthday to you. It's his 21st birthday. He can now drink if he wants to.
Oh
you
yeah,
have, like-
dude, I'm probably gonna get hammered after this.
Celebrate getting to talk to Bobby Allison by getting drunk. Perfect.
Yeah, that's yeah, and also I really appreciate you guys on Twitter with all the birthday wishes. Thank you for that. And I guess also in related news, I got a PS2 today, so pretty soon I'll be able to start live streaming gameplay on my second channel. The bad news is though I don't have an Elgato gaming thing yet, so I gotta wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
I would let you have mine, but I think when I bought it, it had some issues with it anyway. So
yeah, but yeah, guys, I really appreciate it. Just being part of the NASCAR YouTube community and stuff. It's a real honor and stuff. And yeah, getting my birthday wishes from you guys, it really means a lot, and I appreciate that. And also One Incarnation, he was so funny. He made those funny videos today. If you're subscribed to him, you know what I'm talking about. Apparently, I've been arrested for impersonating Bubba Wallace. So,
and apparently, I'm donating my hair to Rusty Walrus. Have y'all seen my hair? Like, I ain't got a bunch here, so.
I saw the way your hair used to be. You used to have that old emo look going on.
Okay, well, I'll give him all my facial hair. That'll work.
And thank you, Sean. Do you guys think Jimmy will win another championship? I know I picked him to win it this year, but that was before Daytona. I'm looking like a fool now.
I don't think it's tough.
At this point, I'll be happy if he just wins the race this year. So
we should probably get into some of the news this week.
Yeah, let's save the stream. We're dropping in viewers rapidly. We did have like 267. We're dropping out of 222. Let's save the stream.
That's a pretty good problem to have.
Anyway, should we start with the race or the BK fiasco?
Oh, BK fiasco, man.
Yeah, let's talk.
Fiasco. Let's get that out of the way.
Really quick for anybody jumping in now, like we said, he had to be here right when it started. Mr. Allison is busy in a test right now. He's already out, so you guys can rewind to watch. But
yeah, I tried to make it clear. I posted a lot on Twitter and stuff about this, trying to say be here at 8 o'clock exactly, because I knew our time would be limited and whatnot. But yeah, this will be up afterwards, so you can definitely go back and watch it when it's over. So I encourage you stick around now, because we're about to talk about some. This is gonna be like old school stream. We don't have any other. Right, we don't have any other guests today, right?
Yeah, it's been weird. We haven't really had a stream like this in a while.
Yeah, this is our first stream where like the bulk of it, we're just gonna be sitting here hanging out. That's great.
Like, ew, just these four? Where's someone cool? Like, where's Dalen? Talk about photography. Talk about your 4 foot wide back, Dalen.
Where is Dalen? Is he out terrorizing Japan or something with that Godzilla back of his? Like, where is he right now?
All right, so we should jump in then to the BK stuff.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. It's honestly, this is honestly like one of the most funniest stories I've ever seen. So Danny B sends the story, shares the story with everyone in our stream chat, and I read it, and basically the team's gonna be up for sale on August 20th
by the bank.
By the bank. But here's the best part: he's gonna try and buy the team again.
Where's he coming up with this extra money? If he went bankrupt, where's he getting the money to try and rebuy it?
I don't know.
He's that guy from California that won the $522 million in a Mega Millions. That's what it is.
Like, he should be able to buy it back.
I mean, shouldn't there be a rule like, hey, look, you had your time, you own the team, you didn't do anything, and you're not gonna be the team's not gonna no, you're banned, man. Just your team has just been a complete disaster since you've been in the Cup Series. I will tell you who needs to buy everything that they've got. Mostly just the charter is GMS. So they've already run into 23 in the lower series anyways. That would make perfect sense for them to try to acquire it. But that original owner is going to be hard to beat for it. I like this comment. Someone said, Jacob said, honestly, Michael Waltrip should try to buy BK Racing. No, he tried to run a team the first time.
I think Michael
'cause-
Waltrip is done. I mean, I think we have a better chance of Kevin Harvick getting his team back together than we do Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, it's like because Michael running a team ended out so well the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
All
Michael Waltrip, he's already a clown, but
Okay, I
it's
don't
like a
want to get
I'm
into
just
too much of
kidding. I'm
this
just
and Michael
kidding.
Waltrip.
I'm kidding.
I do find it interesting that there's that scandal in 2013 or 2012, whenever it was in the playoffs. I think it's funny that we let that go so quick, and he's on TV everywhere.
Yeah, they've forgotten about that real quick. I remember when that happened, everyone was so mad at like Ty Norris and Michael Waltrip and Clint Boyer. There was a time period where no one liked Clint Boyer at all.
Yeah,
Kamikaze.
Yeah, now
Kamikaze.
I'll say this: people criticize this win and yen thing, but I will say what they did in that year, where they added a 13th person for Jeff Gordon. Yeah, I think that was a fair call there.
Alaskan Yankee said Carl Edwards uses his farm money to buy BK Racing.
Yes, all that corn's been paying off.
That'd be some funny stuff if Brian France was just trolling and he just ends up buying it. Oh, and someone said the same thing. I just saw that comment simultaneously.
All right, we should think about the race this past week.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
New Hampshire. It's like I don't know. It's like I really
think
didn't
it was better than what we really expected out of New Hampshire.
Yeah, that basically sums up. It was your typical New Hampshire race, just better.
I gotta ask, boys, who'd y'all pick?
Not the winner.
not the winner. We all picked Hamlin. Well, except you. So.
Who did I pick?
I thought you picked Hamlin.
I picked the
Joey
winner.
Gase.
I picked Kevin Harvick.
Hey. Well, let's just remember a blind squirrel can find a nut eventually.
You got the pick right by picking Kevin Harvick. It's not like you went out on a limb and said that Ryan Blaney was going to get his first win of this season.
I literally got 2 in a row at the start of the year because I was like, screw it, I'll just go with Harvick.
To be fair, I think the only 2 I've gotten right this year are also Harvick.
You know what? I've just been a jinx all year. I've just been jinxing drivers all year. No matter who I pick,
the rest of the year, please.
Yeah, why not? He'll probably still win. But
at this point, my prediction series I did earlier this year is just screwed at this point. Most of them are going to be wrong at this point.
Let's just remember I had Daniel Suarez making it to like the round of 8. So
when did you say that?
Oh my god!
I that was my pick. Like I made my own little bracket or whatever, and I was like, I think he'll take another step. I mean, he had like 17 top 10s last year or whatever.
I thought he'd take a step too, but not a leap, not like a full on like jumping a whole building.
I mean, there's always that one person who makes that round who shouldn't be there. So I was like, it'll be Suarez this year. Why not? It's a good team. Boy, was I wrong.
It could still happen.
I guess my thoughts on the race are, I really didn't expect anything, much to happen. I didn't expect it to rain. I didn't check the weather and stuff, so I was shocked. Like, oh, it's raining it's like, I was shocked to turn it on. I'm like, oh man, there's going to be a rain delay. And some were saying, oh, we're not going to race until Tuesday probably. And thank goodness we got the whole race in. I knew there was going to be some diversity up front than we've been accustomed to this season. But, at one point, Ricky Stenhouse was leading laps consistently. Johnson was running second. Chase Elliott won a stage. He had a great long-run car until the sun came out and stuff, and then he kind of lost the car a little bit. But he still got a top 5 finish. But hey,
Chase's car was definitely set up better for if it's cloudy. I think if it had stayed cloudy, Chase might have won that race. But
absolutely, and let's not forget Eric Almirola, man. Just he's proven, that it wasn't Danica's, that it wasn't Danica's team's fault. That team wasn't running good. So it's great to see him, get out of the grasp of Richard Petty Motorsports and actually go to a competitive team out there, and he's proven himself. And I said, what, he'll probably. I could see him making it to the round of 8, honestly, the way, with how consistent he's running. So, and he might even surprise us too. He might make it all the way to the Final 4. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm definitely at this point seeing a strong chance for both Eric and Kurt to step it up this season and do better, and both of them get a win this year. Maybe even Kurt can find some reborn success at Bristol. He used to be as dominant at Bristol as his brother Kyle is today. Maybe that's a track for him to come back at.
Well, maybe Eric Almirola, because we were talking about people we didn't expect at the start of the year that are in the round of 8. Maybe he's that guy. I mean, that team has been pretty consistent. The only reason they don't have as many top 10s as they should and top 5s is because of dumb mistakes or different issues. I mean, I know in Chicagoland, he seemed like one of the best. Him and Boyer seemed like some of the best ones out there, and then just stupid things took him out of it. So,
and I can. Oh, go ahead.
You know what's weird about this season? It seems like all the teams, for the most part, are all equally like the same as each other. Like if you look at the Hendrick cars, they're equally about the same. If you look at the Stewart Haas cars, I mean, for the most part, Harvick's definitely better, but the other ones are still hanging in right there with them. Gibbs, maybe not so much the same. I definitely feel like Kyle Busch is leaps beyond the other ones at this point. Even with Eric Jones having a win, the others are still far behind Kyle Busch right now. But it's funny how it is showing it's more or less what the team has going on right now.
And I can tell you for a fact, that 10 team is hungry. They were struggling for years. My opinion wasn't because of the equipment. I think that team would have been just as good if they had the right driver in the car for those the past couple of years. But that team's hungry and they're ready for success. They're going to get a win, I think, in the regular season. I don't know where, but they'll get one.
Real quick, for those asking who are coming in late to the chat, Bobby Allison has already been on the stream with us. You can always go back and rewind and rewatch it. He was on for about 10 minutes at the start. He was at Hickory Motor Speedway, and then they're doing a testing session. The cars got started. He couldn't hear us, but we was thankful to have him on tonight.
Yeah, that about sums it up. All I was going to say about New Hampshire was, in a nutshell, I agreed with which one of you guys said it, but the idea that I think it was Darian said it, and the reason I picked Hamlin was I thought this was going to be the week that the big three didn't dominate because it was such a different track, and that's what we saw. We saw really Truex is the only one that led a significant amount of laps. Elliott led a lot. Almirola led a lot. Looked like he was going to run away with the win until that kind of questionable caution with Clint Boyer. I'm not going to go into it too much detail because I'll believe that maybe that deserved a caution, maybe. But anyway, at the end of the day, it was the big three, and that I did not expect. But to go off of what you're talking about with like the teams, I think it's interesting how with Stewart Haas Racing, it feels like team wide, like across all 4 cars, they're all better than they were last year, except maybe Kurt Busch. He feels about the same, but they're all better than they were last year. Truex is about the same. Gibbs is the one that's really interesting because Kyle Busch is top 3. He's one of the top 3. Meanwhile, the next best on that team has been Eric Jones. And he's realistically like 13th or 14th in points, but he has a win. Hamlin's like 11th in points or 10th in points. I don't know exactly where Hamlin is, but like Hamlin can we talk about, I know we've been joking that we picked Hamlin and he didn't win, but can we talk about how bad Denny Hamlin actually was at this race? This was the race that he had circled. We all had circled as his chance to win and kind of get some momentum going into the playoffs. And he finished, where did he finish? Was it like 16th?
It was like 16th a lap down, 17th a lap down.
Yeah, he was Matt Kenseth, I think, beat him. I don't know for sure, but it was a rough day for Denny Hamlin. I'm just
well, it was a rough day. It was a rough day for a lot of contenders that are, the usual contenders this year. I mean, Hamlin struggled. Eric Jones, he struggled a bit as well, but he's still, he's still a young gun and stuff. He still has time. Who else was? I think Logano wasn't doing all that great either. Keselowski had problems all day. It was just surprising. The guys you expected up front, but I think the whole weather had something to do with that as well. I don't think they were prepared for the track changing. Once the weather came in and stuff. Honestly, I think a few of them probably didn't expect the weather to even be a factor. Honestly, with the way those cars ran.
Well, one thing that kind of surprised me is it seemed because I had to listen to the first 100 laps on the radio before I could actually see anything because I was doing some stuff. But it seemed like from both the radio perspective and what they're showing on TV, there was a lot more passing than is usual for New Hampshire. I mean, it wasn't like something that was like, holy crap, they're side by side a lot the whole time. But at the same time, it's like, for a New Hampshire race, for sure, this is definitely on the better side, which I've noticed for a lot of the races since Charlotte or so. A lot of the races have been better for their track, which I think is something good. but it just, I don't know. It seemed like it sort of was like Chicagoland, except to a lesser extent of excitement, where it was sort of ramping up through the day. And then you lead into that finish, which I think is something we can kind of get to here. Is like, it sort of felt like it was just slowly ramping up and ramping up and ramping up until we finally got that awesome finish, So I don't know did you guys feel the same way? Because again, I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I had to listen to a lot of it, but
I agree with what Jacob said in the chat here. I think the PJ1 thing that they put down, it helped Bristol a ton. Bristol is one of the best races. I think Bristol all around was the best race we saw this year. And it, it was because of that grip stuff they put in there to kind of you're manufacturing better racing, but it's minor. And I think that helped a lot for New Hampshire, because you're right. It's always hard to pass at New Hampshire, but I feel like we did see more passing this week than usual.
We saw a lot of passing. I was surprised. Like, I knew they put that stuff on the track to help with grip and stuff like that, but I was honestly surprised with all the passing we had.
Well, it kind of reminded me of Pocono back in the late 2000s, like 2008 to 2010.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's what it reminded me of, and I was like, wow, because I remember those Pocono races were really fun to watch, and to say that about Pocono is pretty incredible. And it's like, that's how I felt about this. If they could do this, except they can just sort of tweak it a little bit as they go and learn more as they go. I feel like New Hampshire could be a race that we circle on the calendar, like Denny Hamlin should have, of being really good.
I think I can see the reason for using that PJ1 stuff on New Hampshire, because if you don't know the background on that, PJ1 is a compound mixture that they actually developed for the NHRA drag strip there at Bristol. And what they did was they wanted to try it out, like using it in the corners there at Bristol. Overall, it had a pretty good effect on the cars on the high banks. But, that stuff is made for a flat drag strip, something that's just going to be going from a flat acceleration. And in way, New Hampshire works the exact same way. So I think I can see that being good for like rolling your corners better, like on a flat surface, having a lot of grip there, and then getting a good acceleration off the corner too.
I see that, CCO Stain. Thank you very, very much. I like that. Keep up the great work, guys. Future of NASCAR coverage. That's a good compliment. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, man. We really appreciate that.
Goals right there.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, I'm surprised nobody brought this up yet. I know we're talking about the Cup race and stuff, and obviously the finish was exciting, but we got to talk about that Xfinity race, man. Did anyone watch the Xfinity race?
Oh yeah, that was exciting.
Let me tell you something.
I missed it.
Let me tell you something really quick. Everyone's always complaining about, Cup guys, they're in the Xfinity Series. Like, they're just hogging up all the wins. And I'm probably in the minority with this. I don't see it as a problem. I don't see it as a problem with Cup guys racing in there. If the Xfinity Series regulars are good enough, they will beat them. And we saw it today. Christopher Bell, obviously, he's going to be a future star if he's developed right and stuff. I don't think he's ready for the Cup Series next year, though. I honestly think he should do one more full-time year, one more full-time season in Xfinity, because we're seeing this trend where we're moving up all of these, so-called, ready young stars. And look what's happened. Byron struggled, Suarez struggles, and Eric Jones, it took him a little while to get his first win. Chase Elliott, while he has been consistent, he has not won a race. And in today's point system and stuff, basically winning is the only thing that matters and stuff. So consistency, while it is important, it's not as important as it was in previous years. And I guess, don't even get me started on Bubba either. I mean, that's more so, I guess, a team issue as well. But, I think, if we want to, stop that trend and stuff, he needs to do one more year in Xfinity.
Yeah, and definitely, Christopher Bell, some people are like, well, why don't you just bring him up to the Furniture Row 77? Well, first of all, you got to get the funding behind him in there anyways. That's one separate thing. But I don't think that it's necessarily the best idea for Christopher Bell to do that. I think maybe, you look at some drivers like, Chase Elliott, although some people still say he was moved up too fast, he still spent 2 full seasons there in the Xfinity Nationwide Series. He definitely still, tried to do all he could do on that level. I think Christopher Bell should do the same thing. You look at Cole Custer. Originally, earlier this year, I thought maybe Kurt Busch was going to end up retiring this year, and maybe we'd see Cole in it next year. Now I'm thinking maybe not so much. I'm thinking maybe Cole needs to have another year next year and then possibly talk about that. But it just all depends on the funding again and what the team wants to do. So, stuff like that. might just be best for some of them just to take it slow and easy. Definitely don't be like a Gray Galding and rush yourself too fast.
Keep beating that dead horse, Danny.
I think it's interesting that oh gosh, lost my train of thought. Christopher Bell. The interesting thing about Christopher Bell, and I saw he won the race, and I heard he beat Keselowski, and I was impressed by that.
It was a good finish. It was a good finish.
Equipment's a big deal for that because I think while Bell is probably not the best driver, Keselowski's probably better than him right now. Bell is probably in a better car with a better crew chief and a better team. But that being said, I think I actually agree with you, Darian, that I don't mind seeing Cup guys run Xfinity races. I think the move that NASCAR made, I think it was last year, to say, oh, you can only run like 10 races in the Xfinity Series if you're a full-time Cup guy or something like that. Like that rule, I'm okay with that rule, but if they take it any further, like say now you can only run 5 races or eventually say you can't run any, I won't be as happy with it.
That's going to be a problem.
That'll be a problem. So I'm worried that it's a slippery slope. They're going to go the wrong way with it. But if they stick with what they have now, I like it because I don't mind seeing a Keselowski, a Logano, a Busch, whoever in some of these races, because in some of these races, wasn't there a rumor last year? I don't even know I thought it was confirmed, but maybe it's just a rumor that Dale Jr. is going to run some Xfinity this year. Like he may not, but
this year, yeah.
No, he's running Richmond, but it was originally said he was going to be doing Xfinity races. Now at this point, it looks like he's doing an Xfinity race at this point.
Okay, well, still that Richmond race, it's going to be a draw. It's going to have a big crowd. It's
going to fill up for an Xfinity race.
Yeah, so
I'll just really quick. What's interesting is his last win was at Richmond, so you might see something. Might see something again.
I just think you need some of that name recognition. People ask why are these series struggling because Truck Series doesn't get hardly anybody to some of their races. Xfinity Series struggles sometimes. It's like if you want funding for this, even some of the smaller teams, you need the name recognition of a Keselowski, of a Busch, of a Earnhardt, or a Harvick in that race to draw more eyes. I think it's no secret. I would watch when I knew Matt Kenseth was running in an Xfinity race. I would watch it. If he wasn't, I watched most of them. I watched probably half the Xfinity races as it is. But when Kenseth was racing, I would watch. And it's just I feel like there's a lot of fans like that.
You know what? I don't think. Oh, just really quick. I just wanted to make this point really quick. NASCAR fans they can get really divided and stuff, and they can say one thing, and then when they get it, they'll want the complete opposite. So let's say they do just ban Cup guys and stuff. Then I bet you during the season we'll probably, get complaints. Oh, well, nobody's going to the races now. We shouldn't have banned Cup Series drivers. I guarantee you.
There'll be
they'll
somebody
probably argue about that.
That'll be something. But I also think it's interesting that if you ask most Xfinity drivers, they like having Cup guys in those races.
That's what Christopher Bell said. Bell said that. He said, you know what? I want to race against them.
And it's like, why can't fans just be like, oh, if you guys are okay, then I'm okay? Like, I don't know why we have to be so against it.
It's no different than, if a person gets on iRacing and they happen to be in a lobby with Bubba Wallace or something like that. I raced against a guy who races modifieds one time. That was really cool experience. For if you put yourselves in the shoes of an Xfinity driver, they're thinking, oh, cool, I get to race against Kyle Busch today. I get to see how I compare to someone who's at the top of his level right now.
Well, here's kind of, because I'm more on the Cup drivers out as much as possible train is while you have you have them race against these guys, you have Xfinity guys racing against Cup guys and they like the experience and stuff. It really hurts the ones that are more towards the middle and the bottom. Granted, we still have full fields, but how many people start and park per week in an Xfinity race or in a Truck Series? It's like those rides maybe it wouldn't have to be full time, because I think it does like four teams or so, and they're all full time. But it took a while to build to that, and these teams like Gibbs and some of them and Penske would have to take a while to build to that. But I guess it's like you have all of the top, money and all prizes and everything, prize money and whatnot, all going towards guys that are running Cup on a regular basis. They don't have to worry about it. They can go out and wreck half the field, not have to worry about it at all. But then you got other guys like Ryan Sieg or, people that run like him that are having to scratch and claw to get one step of the mile that a Kyle Busch would have run in a series. I guess that's where I'm kind of going with it is like, I don't think as much for competition's sake up front as much as the rest of the field, because you notice there's a huge difference when you compare the front of the field in Xfinity and trucks to the back of the field compared to like the top 30 in Cup. It's difficult to start lapping people until you get to about 30th, 29th around there. Whereas like, there can be Xfinity races, if not for stages, there'd only be probably 5 cars on the lead lap. I think there was a Texas race like that right before they put stages in, where it finished with like 4 or 5 guys in the lead lap, and people were just running away with it. So I guess that's where I'm kind of going at with it. Some people might not agree with that, but I guess that's where I go with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. My only counter argument would be along the lines of having some of these Cup guys like a Kyle Busch in a race. I feel like it brings more eyes like to the sport, and maybe that can help those teams get sponsors for certain races. Smaller teams that maybe are struggling to fully fund a season, maybe being in a race with like that Richmond race with Earnhardt. I'll bet there's some small teams that know that that's a chance to get some sponsorship money for that race. And now obviously like an average race with the Keselowski, and it's maybe not a big draw, so that maybe doesn't matter to them. I feel like the biggest complaint I hear about the Cup drivers in the Xfinity Series is they complain that it prevents Xfinity drivers from making a name for themselves, but that's not necessarily pertaining to the 15th to 20th place runners. That's pertaining to a Christopher Bell type, a Cole Custer type, a Brandon Jones type. Those are the people that maybe are struggling or not getting their name out there. I just feel like I don't know how a Kyle Busch being in an Xfinity race and finishing first really hurts a Ryan Sieg too much. I guess that now if there's a bunch of Cup guys, like 7 or 8 of them in there,
that's
okay.
Yeah,
like 2006, 2005 to 2006, that was bad.
Yeah, it's much better. Well, I'd even say, 2005 through about 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, there'd be times where I'd tune in and the top 8 or 9 drivers are Cup, 10th is an Xfinity guy, and then half of the people from 11th to 20th are Cup guys. Even like Eric Almirola was running 14th, and he was ahead of all but one of the Xfinity guys. Right? I think it's gotten a lot better, and I like that the direction they've went in. I guess the thing about sponsorship is like Junior was supposed to run, I think was it like 6 to 8 races this year. And he only can run one race because they can't get any long time sponsorship. I think he was explaining like that the reason they didn't do as much is because they wanted to have sponsors. Sponsors wanted to do one-offs instead of actually like help the team long term. And I guess that's where I'm getting at with some of it is like you see some of these sponsors won't go on a car unless it's the Cup guy, and I guess it doesn't really help the team long term when that Cup guy, like either one is by rules can't be in it as much, 2 by like distance. For instance, it's like a Sonoma race compared to a Road America race. Like a Cup guy can't be in that. So it just sort of, I guess, it helps short term, but it doesn't help long term when those sponsors just go away as soon as a Kyle Busch or Joey Logano isn't racing every week. Like I think that they're in the right direction of making it where it's not just a bunch of leeches every week, stealing candy from a baby. But at the same time, they're not helping. I think the teams have to do this themselves more than NASCAR itself. The teams aren't really. I don't know. They're not helping themselves with it. I guess they're helping themselves short term, but long term, they're going to be screwed once those Cup guys aren't there.
Just if you some of you younger fans think what we have now is bad, just go watch old 2006 Busch Series races or Xfinity Series races as it's called now. Watch the entire season and you'll be appreciative of what we have right now. Trust me. Like Harvick locked up the title at Charlotte and there was like 5 races to go or 6. So that's insane.
And I want to shout out everyone in the chat for getting us to, what are we at? 200 likes, 207.
Yes, guys, click the like button as well.
Thank you guys so much. Still over 200 viewers. So thanks. And again, I want to mention just for those of you, if you're coming in late, Bobby Allison was on for the first 10, 15 minutes or so. You can go back and watch this once it uploads at the end of the night as a full podcast, as a full video. So you can go check that out. It was really awesome to get to talk with him. Our time was cut a little short because he was at a racetrack test session. But anyway, just wanted to say that.
which is cool. You can hear some race car engines. That's cool.
I love how in the end he was like, in the end he was like, "Sorry guys, I tried my best." I was like, "No, you're good."
Yeah, no.
We got all we needed.
And thanks, Steven. Hey guys, keep up the incredible work. Question to you: do you see a shocking silly season move once time comes? Been a fan of NASCAR since 2001. Thank you, Stephen Coy.
And Uncle Tom Cruise, thank you for that.
Oh yeah, I didn't even see Uncle Tom Cruise. Of course, Uncle Tom Cruise. Hey, thank you.
I love that name.
Yeah, great name. But yeah, so do you guys see any crazy, unexpected, silly season moves this year? I know we just heard that Bubba Wallace is re-signed.
Let's talk about that in a little bit, man. Let's just talk about the unpredictable moves we see. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay. My gosh.
But what is a good what was a move y'all see?
Well, if you're gonna go ahead first. I'll think about it.
Maybe as long as if they can get someone to sponsor it, possibly bring the 77 back for Furniture Road. That's about the only thing I could realistically see.
If you're to the one an unexpected prediction, like a going out on a limb prediction, my guess or my thing, I'm going on too long. My thing would be that Jimmy Johnson retires at the end of this year, and they need to put somebody in the 48.
I was just about to say that.
I'm sorry to steal it from you. I figured I was surprised. I thought that's where Danny was about to go, and then he didn't. So
that was. I think that one stream,
I know.
Danny, that was just me, and I was like, we were saying that from then.
See,
like, I feel like it's still in there.
Back then, I thought that, but now the thing is, I think that we've heard so much that Chad Knaus has re-signed until 2020. Jimmy still says that they're going to be finding sponsors for next year and that they're close to having things secured, but I don't know. You just have to wait and see.
The thing that, when I think it was last week, Chad Knaus signed an extension, and in the report it was they've re-signed or they've extended Chad Knaus to crew chief the 48 and Jimmy Johnson for 2 more years. So now both of their contracts end in 2020. So that makes me realistically think that they're going to try and they'll probably both retire in 2020. But
if we're going to talk about a crazy move just out of nowhere, I'm not saying this guy's a bust, but a lot of people are very disappointed with his progress. I'm not gonna lie, I did expect more. Like not last season because Edwards retired, so he had to step in right away and stuff. This will probably sound crazy. Since we're talking about unexpected moves, Suarez gets bumped out of the Cup Series, out of the 19 for Christopher Bell. That could happen, I think. If we're just going to talk about, crazy, insane moves and stuff,
crazy.
Then that would be insane.
If they do that, I think Suarez could easily get the Xfinity ride back. The only thing I would hate is that would basically mean, what the heck is Ryan Preece going to do anymore?
Well, Ryan Preece, didn't they now say they've got a new sponsor for a few races?
Craftsman's back.
They've got Craftsman's going to be with Eric Jones and a lot of races for the remainder of this year.
I'm excited to see that car.
But they're going to be primarily more of him next year, from what I understand. And then Preece has got them booked for a few races this year. I don't know for sure which ones they are. I have to assume Bristol's going to be one of them. I have to assume he's going to be going back to Bristol this year.
Your Suarez hypothesis is quite outlandish, but I wouldn't say it's too outlandish. I don't think that happens this year, but I think there is a real possibility that after next year, if Suarez is still running 20th, doesn't make the playoffs, I think Christopher Bell could be in that car 2020.
All right.
Bubba could have.
You want me to give a serious, what I think is going to happen? I keep looking at Eric's shirt there.
Oh, yeah?
Ricky goes back to the number 6.
I like
Kenseth to the 17.
I'm already expecting that though. To be honest.
If they do that, I will be shocked. If they do that, I'll be shocked if Kenseth races a single race next year. On
that Kenseth video I made 2 months ago when he returned, talking about his expectations, that was the top comment on there. I can't remember who commented it, but Stenhouse to the 6 and then Kenseth to the 17 and stuff. I'm going to say this. If Kenseth does race full time next year, they're going to make the playoffs. That team's going to make the playoffs. I can guarantee you.
I think they will. I think, honestly, if he raced full time this year, make the playoffs.
And they might not even, change the teams or even the equipment.
No.
They might just simply change the numbers is all that they do.
Yeah, I think that's what they would do. Brestude says in the chat that's I think exactly what they would do. I don't think for some reason, and I've been saying this for a while, I think it's 50-50 whether the 6 car even runs next year. I honestly think I actually maybe at this point say it's 60-40. I think there's a 60% chance that the 6 car is gone after this year. Maybe it's a part-time ride for a Ty Majeski, a Chase Briscoe, a Austin Cindric type. It maybe becomes a part-time ride, and maybe Kenseth races some still. I don't know. I doubt that. If the 6 car does stay, if they keep a 2-car team at Roush, I fully believe Kenseth will be in it full-time next year. I don't know if they'll switch him to the 17, swap decals or what. But right now I'm leaning towards I think that 6 car is going to disappear, and I think they're going to try to fully fund Stenhouse with whatever remaining sponsors they have. Now, Stenhouse he's made some enemies lately. Stenhouse is I feel like Stenhouse is he's right. Well, he's probably not going to make the playoffs because of his screwy race.
Well, he could have been in the playoffs, but he screwed himself.
He screwed himself
last race.
He screwed himself at Daytona, and then he made people mad. So McMurray wrecked him at wherever we were a couple weeks ago. And then last week, Stenhouse just wrecked himself, and he's really killed his playoff hopes at this point. He's still got a chance, but if he misses the playoffs, you never know.
He could have been in. He could have been in last week, but he just I can't remember. He hit the wall or something. So
yeah. I'll say this: Stenhouse still has one more chance. A track that he seems to run well at for whatever reason. That's Bristol. He does have a chance there.
If he wrecks at Bristol, Jack Roush will not be a happy camper, especially if he wrecks himself.
Now, since we're going to talk about crazy, unpredictable moves, I got this one that I've honestly been thinking about for a while. I remember discussing it with you guys, I think, on a BS stream sometime a while back. So, Kyle Larson, he just, we all know he loves the dirt and stuff. That's where his heart is at and stuff, He's been rumored he wants to race. Before he, is completely done with racing, he wants to do a full season of outlaw racing, I've said before, I think he's going to win the championship this year. That's my prediction. But let's say, he doesn't. And maybe he might be a little bit frustrated with Ganassi. I don't know. It's like they've honestly regressed a little bit this year, compared to last year, as he had 4 wins. He had 3 wins or up to this point last year. And so far they have none this year. Maybe he might want to get out of the contract and maybe go try and drive for maybe like a Joe Gibbs or maybe a Furniture Row can add that second car. You know what I mean? I mean, the sponsorship's there with Credit One Bank. They will go with him. I guarantee you they will probably go with him wherever he wants to go. But then Ganassi's all like, you know what? No, you're staying. You signed a contract. You're going to stay with me. And Larson, here's the crazy part. Larson decides, you know what? I'm not going to run the Cup Series next year. I'm going to do 1 year in the World of Outlaws. And then for the 2020 season, I'm going to go sign with Joe Gibbs. That's unrealistic, but that's the best I could come up with.
That's a roundabout way to get
pretty unrealistic. But if he wanted to wait the contract out, then try something like that, maybe I could see that.
I like J-Dub's comment. Larson brings his World of Outlaws teams to the Cup Series.
Yes, just running a sprint car out there.
But
no, Casey Kane does.
I don't see that happening soon. I saw a report today. Larson he had a quote where he said something like, "It's not about the money in NASCAR, but
well, good. He's going to be getting less the way it's going.
Well, if it's not about the money, he can just give it to me. I mean, it's no big deal. I'll take good care of it.
I still think he's going to need to run at least 5 or 10 more years in the Cup Series before he can realistically consider. There's guys that run World of Outlaws sprint car races into their 40s. That can be Larson,
Yeah, since we're talking about like unexpected, I figure I go way out on a limb there and stuff.
Dude, you know from unexpected to freaking dreamland, man.
I wouldn't think of that as a dream. I want Larson still in the Cup Series.
Well, I feel like he's looking. It's like, how can I make Brett Favre's story from how he went from the Packers to the Vikings moved into a Cup driver?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
let me think this through for 10 minutes, and then I'll piece everything together. That's what I saw with that.
Darian, I thought you were drinking after the stream.
I'm not drinking yet. Probably after. Oh wait, but you guys did forget about another Ganassi driver, McMurray. He's having one of his worst seasons ever. I mean, he could possibly retire, and maybe Who would you guys see taking over the 1 car? Someone said Casey Kane. I don't see that happening though.
Not him. He's not ready. He's just not ready.
We're not asking who's ready. We're asking who they're dumb enough to put into the ride.
I didn't hear. Who'd you say?
John Hunter Nemechek. I'm not saying he's ready. I'm not saying he's ready, but I'm saying they'd put him in just for name recognition.
What's McMurray's contract look like? Because I feel like
I think this is his final year.
If it is, then he's in a rough spot. And he better hope it's not his final year.
Honestly, here's my opinion. You completely skip John Hunter Nemechek right now. Someone who actually has been racing in the mid series a lot longer than we really realize is Martin Truex Jr.'s brother Ryan. Ryan started racing back in 2010?
No.
What do you got against Ryan Truex?
No. Stay away from Truex. Man, he couldn't even he ran all right in the Truck Series last year, but I mean, look what Brett Moffitt's done with that ride. He's a championship contender, and they barely have sponsorship this year. And then look at the 11. I mean, he hasn't really. I mean, that team's running. I mean, basically the same.
That's college racing.
Wait, one second. We're talking Ryan Truex, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't there another Truex that was god awful for about 8 years and Cup only got
come on, he wasn't god awful.
Okay, if you told me in 2014 that Martin Truex Jr. was going to be the best driver in Cup for 3 years, what would your reaction be? Come on.
I would say no, but I would say he'll get a win before he retires. I would say at least
he'll get a win. No, would you? Okay, I'd be like, okay, let's go back. 2016, I'd be like, yeah, so there's going to be a year where Truex gets 8 wins and wins the championship. What would you tell me?
I'd say you're on drugs. You're on drugs, man.
Yeah, there you go. And that's what you're saying about Ryan Truex. I'm like, give the guy a chance.
He had his chance in the Cup Series. He blew it.
Who was he running with in
He was running for BK Racing. If he
okay. That counts.
That doesn't count. Yeah, I know. But I mean, honestly,
look at Alex Bowman, what a difference that he made.
Level of stupid on that one.
I don't know what you guys see in him though. I don't really see that much. I mean, all I see is a mediocre driver. If you put him in the Cup Series, if you put him in that 1 car, I don't see it. I think he'll run right about where McMurray is.
I just thought about
if he goes for a Turo 77.
I just thought about how good it would be for both the Truexes to run in a 1 car at one point in their career.
That would be cool. Honestly, that would be pretty awesome.
His throwback scheme for Darlington could be Truex's 2007 scheme that he won his first race with.
Hey, I think Johnny Morris would do it. He sponsored Ryan Truex before for a race.
Well, and then Teresa would sue for having an E on the side of the car.
Yeah, probably. Well, she sues for anything, so pretty much sues for anything.
She'd probably sue herself, not even realizing.
A lot of people in the chat.
We're probably getting sued for bringing her up. So.
Oh my goodness. I think a lot of people in the chat were saying DiBenedetto goes to the 1 car.
I am all for that. And you know what? I'm all for DiBenedetto going to the 13. I'm all for him going to the 13. I think he could turn that team around.
I don't know about
He'll run better than Ty Dillon. He'll run better than Ty.
But he's already running better than Ty Dillon in the 32.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, give me a car, I'd probably be running better than Crimson Chin there.
Yeah,
wait, he's ahead of him in points?
Oh, I don't know. They're about the same. Actually, I feel like DiBenedetto's 30th.
Somebody brought it up in the chat. It's like if Kenseth gets a few more races in a row, if he gets maybe 8 more races to run or whatever, he could end up realistically in the top 30 in points. Just think about that. He would be ahead of Trevor Bayne.
Hold on, I want to see where DiBenedetto is. Hold on.
I can't wait for that angry Trevor Bayne fan who spams me every now and then to be try and tell me, oh, he's good. He's better than Kenseth.
DiBenedetto actually is behind Ty Dillon right now in points. He is 30th.
Hey guys, I just want to point out something real quick. We got 242 likes right now on this video, and 230 are watching. We have beat the ratio there. Good job, guys.
Yeah,
thank you.
More.
Man, make sure you guys click the like
really
button.
Quick, because it's about 8 o'clock here, so we're about an hour in. Just to remind everybody, Bobby Allison has been on. So if you're tuning in late, he's probably not going to be coming back on throughout the night. But just a hunch.
Yeah.
So, okay, I saw I'm sorry. I think this guy's trolling. Someone said in all caps, "We need Ryan Reed in the Cup Series." You're trolling.
He ran like one Daytona 500. I think that's it.
Daytona like
How
400.
many more wins does he have in NASCAR's top 2 series in Ty Dillon?
Couple.
Oh, he does have more, actually.
There you go. That we can start the argument there. He can make the top 30.
I think he has 3 Truck Series wins, I think. Ty Dillon does.
I'm saying top 2 series.
Oh, top 2 series. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, made a good point right there. But I mean, he does have the money though.
Carefully.
I mean, he could. I mean, he has that, the money from that one sponsor he has, the diabetes sponsor and stuff, So even though he doesn't deserve it, he'll probably move up. Knowing NASCAR.
We did a lot with that one question about silly season predictions. We turned that to like a full 25-minute segment, guys. Well done.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We had some crazy ones like myself, and I think yours were pretty reasonable, but the whole Kyle Larson one was just like,
I didn't know where that was going until it happened.
I mean, my Ryan Truex one is a little bit out there, but
of all the ones we just talked about, what's the most realistic? Johnson retiring, Larson retiring?
Johnson retiring.
You think that's the most realistic, even over Suarez getting booted out early?
Yeah, that's Suarez and that sponsor, they're not going anywhere for.
I mean, that sponsor right there. If y'all didn't really look into that much, that sponsor was a big reason that they wanted him to be in the car rather than Carl. So,
well, here's something I have kind of wondering is so DeWalt went over from Petty to Gibbs because they wanted to re-up with Kenseth, right?
Yep.
How long does their contract last? Because if Kenseth stays around an extra season or two in the 17, you could have the 17 DeWalt team.
No, I mean,
I would love that.
Stanley bought DeWalt and they bought Craftsman. Craftsman is with Jones next year. I mean, they're not going nowhere. They have many brands underneath them. They're just switching their marketing is all that they're doing.
If they did do that,
Still a possibility.
If that 17 DeWalt car comes back on the track, I might have a heart attack. I'm just saying. I might. I don't think it's going to happen, though, but that would be cool.
17 DeWalt Mustang would look nice next year.
I was going to talk about that. Maybe today's not the stream to do it, but I was thinking, like, with Harvick winning again, Ford continuing to dominate, Almirola looks so good. Can we talk a little bit about, they're changing to Mustang next year. We see how bad the Camaros are. Is this, like, the worst possible, like, timing for them to make a car change?
Maybe Ford was like, I feel bad. Let's just even out everything again.
They probably were planning this probably 2 years ago.
I'm sure they were.
Probably.
Back when they were struggling, and it's like this year they just and I'm sure it has a lot more to do than just Ford, the company. It has a lot more to do with the teams themselves just figuring out how to finally get the speed out of those cars.
I want to go back really quick to the DeWalt thing. Bass Pro Shops ran with both the Toyota teams, with Truex, and a little bit with Jones, as well as running with Stewart Haas and Ganassi. Yeah. So it's not, depending on what the contract is, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility.
It just depends.
I don't know. I've seen weirder stuff happen. I've seen much weirder happen.
It just depends on what the company is. I mean, Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shops, you see them I'm a big person in the bass fishing world too. They'll sponsor multiple different bass fishing anglers. They're not associated with just one,
I just also wanted to point out, everyone's still talking about, the Toyota Ford dominance. This isn't going to last forever. A lot of people are under the assumption it is. Chevy, they are going to bounce back next year. I feel like they'll have the Camaro set up right and stuff for all their teams. They're going to bounce back next year, and definitely get back to where we usually see them up front. And I'm honestly really excited about that too, because I don't think Toyota's gonna lose anything going into the season. Since Ford is switching cars and stuff like that, they might lose a little bit. And I think by then it's going to be a really even playing field. We're going to see a lot. I think that what do you call it? The manufacturer point standings for 2019. That's probably going to be the closest ever. That's what I think.
I'm only worried because I'm a Toyota fan, but I'm afraid if Chevy doesn't figure it out this year and Ford's not too great at the beginning of next year, Kyle Busch is going to be winning. He could win 15 races next year if we're not careful. It could be the Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Truex show, and NASCAR fans will lose their minds.
I could not.
I couldn't do it. I even like Toyota, but I couldn't watch Kyle Busch win. I can't. If he wins 10 races this year, I might have to go like force myself to throw up in the bathroom just to get it out of my system.
We're already five Kyle Busch wins in, and he's already had one cringy victory moment at Chicagoland. It's like, please, no,
please stop.
Hey,
it's like, no,
yeah.
Come on,
watch after
has more maturity, man.
Watch after he retires. I remember Eric was talking about that after the Chicagoland race. He's like, well, like, is that going to be his image? Like, 20 years from now, little kids are going to be like, hey, do the thing.
Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand. He's going to be
and also,
Hall of Fame speeches with doing the crybaby.
And also, thing. I just wanted to point out, too, I saw this on Twitter. I think it was NASCAR Opinions who tweeted this out. Like, right now, we're not appreciating what is going on in the league right now, okay? The 2014 champion, the 2015 champion, and the 2017 champion are like they've won championships recently in the Cup Series. They're all just like dominating at the same time. Like, they've won I think 15 out of the 20 races. Like, this is historic. I've never seen anything like this where like recent champions, not even like, like we're not even like 5 years apart from their championships and stuff. They've won championships 3 out of the last 4 years, and now like they've come like they're just straight up dominating the season. I mean, it's really historic.
And I think part of it's that like even with Jimmy Johnson winning 5 in a row, it's like it wasn't like those were easy wins either. It wasn't like he had locked it up the week before and it was just sort of skipping to the last week. I mean, it's like 2006 was people forget it was a 5-driver championship race. 5 drivers realistically could have won that championship. 2007, Jeff Gordon was pretty awesome that year. 2008 was arguably Carl Edwards' best year. 2009 was probably the easiest one he had because everyone couldn't stop crashing themselves. And then 2010, he was the underdog throughout it, right? And so there's sort of that illusion of parity, I guess you could say, because there were also different drivers each year that were up there, and then you had the stuff with Stewart, and then you had the stuff with Keselowski beating Johnson winning again, but still being close with Kenseth and Harvick, and then going into this. So I guess I think part of it is the fans kind of getting spoiled by that for the past 10 to 15 years, but then also the fact that, I mean, aside from Truex, like I don't think it's out of bounds to say that Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch are not likable people. Like,
I'll agree with that.
People like, I don't see people complaining as much. I see people complaining about the same people winning, but not as much about like Truex as there would be with Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick, because Truex is the nice, low kind of
underdog, the underdog
underdog
champion
story. Yeah, he's the underdog.
Modern day Sterling Marlin. He's a modern day Sterling Marlin,
except better,
like way better, like way better.
And I think that's a big part. I think if you had like, I don't know, let's see, you had Truex still, but then you had somebody like Bubba and Blaney, and they were winning each week, and it was likable personalities like that. I think you wouldn't have as much complaining as you do now, where it's arguably 2 of the most polarizing figures in the sport that have called out the fans and their favorite drivers multiple times before winning each week. I mean, I don't know. That's sort of, I think it's the perfect snowball of dirt and crud to get it all together.
Snowball, dirt, and crud.
Everything you're saying makes 100% sense, but the problem, the reason I can't figure it out is, like you say that, like Harvick and Kyle Busch are 2 of the most kind of hated NASCAR fans. They have a lot of fans, or drivers. They have a lot of fans, but they're also very hated, and they're dominating. So the sport feels like there's been a cloud over it this year. But you look at every other major sport, the Yankees straight up just have more money than other teams, so they can just buy championships. They did that for decades. But people love the Yankees, and baseball's doing fine. Basketball, the Warriors and the Cavs keep going to the finals. This year it'll be the Lakers and the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. It's going to be LeBron versus the Warriors, and the NBA's ratings are going through the roof, and everyone hates Steph Curry, it feels like, and Kevin Durant. They're so hated.
I don't.
A lot of people do.
College football, Alabama's in a national championship about every year.
People like to hate on Nick Saban. People hate on Tom Brady and the Patriots, and they're in the Super Bowl every year. But these sports are all doing well. So why does it feel like NASCAR is being slowed down? Pardon the pun. Why does it feel like NASCAR is being slowed down because our polarizing figures are doing well? Maybe
I can tell you why. Hold on. Oh, go ahead, Jared.
I would say that one, because again, they're completely different sports, but two, because I think the fans of motorsports are much different than fans of stick and ball sports. Where I think motorsports fans would rather see, more than other sports fans would want to see their favorite driver. I think there's such a dispersion of different people to root for that it's like 37 people each week are basically like, well, my driver's aiming for fourth today. The big three are going to run away with it. Whereas it's like with other sports, and that's why I think that it was different with Jimmy Johnson, because every year there was still somebody coming up that was, or multiple people coming up who could realistically, have at him. Whereas you see this year, and it's like Kyle Larson had a race here or there, and then like Blaney had a race where he was good, and the Penske cars. But it's like, for the most part, it's really been a 3-car race up front. And as much as fans want to talk about the old days, I think they're more talking about the 90s and early 2000s with that. But they don't want that to come back of NASCAR. It's like, so that's where I see it. I see it as like, it's just a different breed of fans. And I think NASCAR fans, one, will disagree about everything. I think we've all covered that into the ground at this point on here. But it's like, two, is that they also will be more vocal about it than other fans, where other fans sort of, it's status quo to have superstars dominate. Where in NASCAR, we just came off a span of 20 years, basically, where the biggest superstar would have a 4-year winless streak, right? That's how I kind of see it. It's just a different sport and a different breed of fans going about it.
I think I was going to say really quick, it was just the fact that NASCAR is a sport and racing is a sport where every week there's one winner and 40 losers. Whereas, even I guess, and I'm kind of trying to make your point, I guess, but like, I guess comparing it to other sports where every week, every game, there's a one winner, one loser. Even the worst teams in baseball are going to win 60. They're going to win 60 games, But in NASCAR, it feels like these days, even Jimmy Johnson doesn't stand a chance. And I guess I can see why that would be kind of just depressing to a lot of people.
And granted, with there's always a chance that with the way this point system works, the way this playoff system works, these three could still not make it to Homestead. There's always a chance of that happening, but I don't think it's that likely, because look at this right here. 2014, we did see Kevin Harvick was in the playoffs. He won a championship. 2015, we had Truex, Busch, Harvick. They were in there. Kyle Busch went on to win that. 2016 was a different year, but we still had Kyle Busch. He was in it. 2017, again, we had Truex, Busch, Harvick, and then one outsider was Keselowski. This year, we're probably going to see those same three in the Final Four once again for the third time out of 5 times that we've done this.
Basically, it's not even I don't think there's even a challenge to, like, those guys are going to get like the big three. I think they're going to get in, all 3 of them at this point right now. I think everyone's just trying to get that, that 4th spot, which Larson will get. And, like I said, he'll win the championship, in my opinion. But I guess back to what you guys were saying, I was about to say basically similar things. Like, it is different than ball sports and stuff. I could see to a certain extent why fans are, kind of just PO'd and just upset about it. Because there's only one winner and basically 39 or 38 other losers. Well, depending on how many cars there are in the race these days. So you'll have to count that out per race. But yeah, and I could see, why some of the fans are upset. Like, oh, my favorite driver's not winning. It's the same 3 guys and stuff like that and whatever. But then the other side of me is just like, you guys need to have an appreciation for what's going on right now. I mean, I've never seen anything like this ever. I think if you go back in the history of NASCAR, all the way back to like 70s, 80s, 90s, whenever, I've never seen recent champions just win so many races at the same time. And also, some of y'all fans you're always talking about, oh, let's go back to the old days. I miss old NASCAR. Dale Earnhardt won the 1987 championship. In a recent video I did, he had 11 wins, and I think he had like 5 runner-up finishes. So he could have easily won like 16 or 17 races that year. I mean,
the old days were like, I think nowadays, the old days, 2005 was 13 years ago. I mean, so that technically could be a nostalgia old days thing. Like,
Yeah,
the
probably.
last year of the 90s was almost 2 decades ago. So I guess that's I think that gets misconstrued too much with fans. And I wanted to kind of defend fans, especially after Kenny Wallace went after him with that, is that like the old days, especially for like us, the old days is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And you look at years that we consider really awesome years, even if the racing wasn't as good as, say, early 2000s, like 2014 and 2011. 2011, there were 18 different winners, 4 first-time winners, right? And everyone considers that such an awesome year. And I think that's because it's like each week you didn't know who could win. It's like literally there were races where last turn of the last lap, you still didn't know who was going to win. And I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about there. But it's like, so I guess that's what I'm kind of getting at is racing and NASCAR especially markets itself as being unpredictable. There's nothing really unpredictable about saying one of these 3 guys will win all but 4 races this year. That's kind of where I'm getting at and why people are so upset, especially people who are newer into the sport too. I guess that's where I'm getting at with it.
So,
do you guys all think that the big 3 will all make it to Homestead?
Yeah,
I guess
especially the bonus points.
I think that they will, but I know there's still a chance something could go wrong with one of them. One bad run of blown engines, it could all be over. So,
I mean, unfortunately,
points will save them.
I mean, unfortunately, with this point system, I mean, they could basically not all of them can make it. Like none of them make it. I don't think that's gonna happen, but like none of them can make it though, which is that's just insane.
Where it gets dangerous is those that round of 8, because if those drivers if they're holding anything back, if they're sandbagging anything, they go out and 3 different people who are in a round of 8 get wins in that round. That could really shake it up.
I think 2 will make it. I think 1 misses out. I'm going to go ahead and say that's my final prediction. I think Harvick, Busch will make it. Harvick or Truex will make it. Busch or Truex, but not all of them. I think 2 will make it.
I think Busch. I think I'd go with, and not because I don't like him, but because Busch, aside from 2015, has really had a history of choking in the chase in the playoffs.
Yeah,
he almost did. He almost. Oh wait, which one? Kurt Busch or Kyle Busch?
Kyle Busch.
Oh, okay.
Kyle Busch.
I mean, if you think about it, last year, if it wasn't for the Hamlin spinning Elliott thing out, Busch wasn't going to get that Martinsville win. It was going to be Elliott probably.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, I think a lot of people have erased that thought of Kyle Busch from their memory, but it's kind of like you look at Drew Brees. Comparing to other sports, after I said we shouldn't, hypocritical of me, I will admit that. But you look at Drew Brees in the NFL, right? He's 1-5 on the road in the playoffs. So it shows that even the best in any given sport, which I think that to a degree is comparable, but it's like I think the best in any given sport, they have their weaknesses. And I think aside from 2015, where he did luck out a lot in it, I mean, if it wasn't for Kevin Harvick spinning the field, Kyle Busch doesn't even make it out of the round of 12 in 2015. Busch hasn't been really the best and wasn't really known for pulling out the crucial win at the last second. And so that's because Harvick has literally been known as the closer, right? And Truex he manages the last few years, even when he gets unlucky, he still manages to get lucky anymore, which I find really cool, especially with how his career started. But it's like Busch is the one who I could see. Harvick definitely not, but Busch and to a degree Truex are the 2 I could see not making it. I don't see Harvick choking. I don't think I've seen Harvick choke since he was with RCR.
And let me give a real quick shout out to Kurt Busch. I mean, you can tell he's really changed. Because he had that incident where he was like, with Blaney, he was about to pull in and it was like, oh no, you go. Oh no, you go. And they were just basically stopped there on pit road. If that would have happened in let's say 08, he would have been like, you know what I mean?
He'd be like, move, MFer, I'm coming in.
Yeah.
He would have got in the car and hit him.
I mean, you can tell he's really changed and stuff. So I have a really quick suggestion. I want to get the comments feelings on this video idea I have, because I've been thinking about it for a while. It's a part of my bus series. Some of y'all will probably go insane in the comments, and maybe a few of you might go insane here. So I guess for my new for another video in the bus series, a driver I was thinking about talking about, Steve Park, and here's why. Because he was a bust to me, not because of his driving ability at all. He was going to get a top 10, but the injuries basically derailed his career. I mean, would you guys see that as a bust or?
I don't know about being a bust per se, because he was definitely really good in the early stages of DEI, and I think a big thing that really hurt his career was Dale, passing away. I think definitely Dale was always more of a big support for him, and definitely not having him there probably hurt. And I definitely don't know that. I can't say that Teresa really cared as much as probably Dale did about him.
But I mean, you don't think the injuries? I guess I'm gonna go here and compare it with other sports and stuff. Like I don't know, there's a ton of busts in the NFL all the time that were just busts solely because they were hurt. I mean, to be productive, you have to be on the field. I guess in NASCAR, to be productive, you at least have to be on the racetrack and stuff. And it's just, I mean, he can't control that. I mean, he's a bust to me out of no fault of his own. When he was on the track, he was productive. 2001, he was going to win. I mean, he was probably going to win another race, in my opinion. I think he would have took the second Rockingham race. Kenny Wallace finished second in that car in the fall of that season. He would have won the second Rockingham race, so he would have had 2 wins. I think he would have finished in the top 10 in points. He was on pace to finish in the top 10 in points, but I mean, that injury basically, he had the head injury and stuff after that hard hit with who was it, Larry Foyt in the Busch Series race. And after that, I mean, he just couldn't recover after that. He wasn't the same. So I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, you don't think injuries, you don't think injuries would count in that sense? Wouldn't play a part in that?
Nah, bust is really, it's really of their own doing, not something like that.
But bust is somebody who was just put into a car they had no business being in.
Okay. Yeah, I was seeing some of that. Well, actually, I saw a little bit of mixed reactions in there. Obviously, mostly no.
The chat was pretty split, I thought.
Yeah, but some people said yes and stuff. So I wish I had the community tab on my channel so I could ask you guys and run a poll and see.
You don't have that?
No.
I still don't know if I have it. So
I thought everyone got that.
No, like, do I call them and be like, hey, can you guys monetize my channel? Okay. And then second of all, can you guys give me the community tab? Like,
dude, download your YouTube Studio and you can get like every comment from anything with it. So you can just put a video out.
I'll make the poll for you and I'll tell you what they say.
Or a Twitter poll.
Oh yeah,
I'll do a Twitter poll too. Yeah, of course, I'll do that one.
For the time being, Twitter is your best friend.
Oh well, no, I'm not gonna bring that up. You guys know.
Yeah, we'll keep that secret for now.
Yeah,
we have many questions.
Do you think they should bring racing back to the caution? Since
yes, depending on the circumstance, yes. Obviously, if there's like a 12 car pileup by the finish line at Talladega, then no, you obviously don't do it. It should be a judgment call thing. Bring it back to the caution and stuff. I especially love racing back to the caution in NASCAR Thunder 2004. I love that. It's the last game where you can do it and stuff. So I'm assuming it was fun to do that in real life, I guess.
You know what's bad if you go back and you play an old game like that and you're not used to it. Like if I ever play like NASCAR Racing 2003, I'd be like, oh, caution's out, slow down. It's like, oh, no, go.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. I wish we could do it in the NASCAR YouTube Pro Series, but we can't really control that part of it.
Turn cautions off.
I mean, you can turn cautions off, but golly, I've done leagues like that in the past, and that gets me so much.
Yeah, it's like, oh, caution for what? I spun. It's like, no, you didn't. You just lying.
It's like, okay, Larry, we're gonna give you 5 spins, and then you're done.
You're booted.
Oh yeah, crap! I can't believe we haven't done this yet. Thoughts on the Talladega renovations?
Oh yeah,
planned renovations.
Yeah, it's gonna be very fan friendly. I just got to add one thing: add lights. Come on, what are we waiting? I want to see a night race at Talladega.
Night racing is overrated. Night racing is so overrated when it's. Well,
think of it for me and where I'm at. I'm 4 to 5 hours away. I would love to go to Talladega more often if it wasn't for the fact that it's on like a it's like on a Sunday. I would love to go down there for a Saturday night and then drive back on Sunday. That's just how I see it.
I'm just gonna say this: Las Vegas, they were the first track to, provide, the renovations for, the garage and stuff way back in 07.
Well,
so
hey,
we actually beat you guys. We beat you guys.
Difference though is that that track is doing stuff to spice stuff up because the racing is bad.
Pretty much. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
Talladega doesn't have that problem for the most part.
I think it's really cool because I went to Daytona in 2014, and that was before their big renovation, or that was right when they were starting it. And I was kind of like, I don't think I ever need to see another race here. Like, it was kind of cool to see Daytona. It was for the Coke 04, and it wasn't for the 500. So it was like, it's cool to see a race here, but it's like, I don't ever need to come back. And then it just so happened a couple years later, after the renovation was over, it just turned out that I was in town. I'm like, might as well go to the Sprint Unlimited, the Clash, basically. And that was after the renovation, and it was amazing. I was like,
you were hella skinny back then. I actually watched that video last night. No joke. Yeah. I actually was watching some of your old videos.
Yeah, and
I was watching that one.
That just, I was blown away. I was like, this is nicer than some football stadiums I've been, or baseball stadiums. So I was like, that's beautiful. I know they're not, it seems like what they're doing for Talladega is mostly on the infield, but I know I've never been to Talladega, but I feel like it was just a more kind of beat up older Daytona. So,
yeah, I've been to Talladega, and definitely it's definitely an older facility, like especially in the area I was in, that set of grandstands, and I was right out of the exit of turn 4, so I don't know what it was like closer to the start finish line or anything like that. But I think if I go in the fall like I'm hoping to, I'll probably try and get a higher seat, more closer to the start finish line or something like that. Spend a little bit more money for a little bit better ticket. But for the most part, the outside fan experience was pretty fun. Free parking, pretty good, not too terrible. Walk to the track, good things outside the track to see. For the most part, everything's fine there. But as far as like the grandstand experience goes, it's just what you'd expect out of a basic NASCAR track, I guess. So maybe they've got more to do with that aspect of it, but definitely what they're going to do for the infield is definitely going to be a much better fan improvement for those who are getting the pit passes. And from what I've always heard, especially in the fall, the party experience in the Talladega infield has always been big, and this will probably only add to it.
People died there apparently. They died in the infield.
I'm all for anything that adds to fan experience, and I think Talladega's a place that could have used a renovation. And I thought it was interesting. They said it was a $50 million expansion. I was like, that seems a little pricey for just fixing up the garage area, but all right.
What they need to do, I understand they're all for renovations and stuff. I am too, but if you're going to make renovations, you better make sure the fans actually show up. Ticket prices for any NASCAR race, whether it's the trucks, Xfinity, or Cup, are just outrageous. They're absolutely outrageous.
I say that comment a lot, but honestly, when you really look at everything that really, really goes into the entire weekend, how much it really costs, it makes sense to me. But that's mostly because I just understand everything from like the business side of it, learning stuff in college and how all that works better. And honestly, it's worth what you're paying.
Well, my problem with that is that they get so much money. I mean, they get billions from the TV deals. It's right. Like what was it? I think we were talking last week that, I forgot which one who said it, but it's like basically they could have nobody there and they would still make a profit on the weekend, like and a large one at that. So I guess, if they really wanted to fill up the stands more, they could honestly slash it to just be like walk up, pay $30 and get in kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like if you lower them just a little bit, more fans will obviously show up. But that's just me.
There are some tracks where that's a good idea. I think there's some tracks that are these days only filling up 60-70% of their stands. Sure, instead of 120 for a good ticket, make it 80, for a year or two.
I will say that Bristol having the amount of seats that they can fill, they should probably come down on their ticket prices just a little bit.
They should just downsize in general. I know they like to have the Coliseum look to it, but it's like it just is not a good look for the sport when 20,000 people show up and it looks small.
I hope that the August Bristol race fills out because the spring one was so good.
I think it'll get 100,000 people. I
hope so.
I think it'll get 2/3 full for sure.
I will be.
The night race there's always a lot of people at the night race.
I'm just curious because the big factor in it all is going to be weather, and I'm curious looking. It's too far out for me to see it entirely, but I'll definitely tell you this right now. If the weather continues going how it has been in Tennessee, weather might be fairly good. It's not going to be really hot. We've got a lot of high temperatures in the high 70s to low 80s. There's a few partly cloudy days. There's a few scattered storm days, like in the evening. If we go ahead and get those storms out of the way, maybe it'll be okay. But for the most part, it's not going to be too hot for this race. From the way
3.5 weeks away, I don't buy it. I'm not going to listen to anything the weather's telling me.
I have to ask, how much does weather play a factor in how many people show up? To the fact that it's how many people does it really keep away? Because when 20,000 people show up for a Sunday race.
Trust me, the spring that had a lot to do with it. I spoke to many people who had tickets and said they just chose to go because they knew the weather was going to be bad.
Holy crap, guys!
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It doesn't keep 20,000 more people away, or people are like, oh, it had 80,000 without. It's weather doesn't keep 60,000 people out of 80,000 who bought tickets away. I guess so. I know it plays a part, and it's definitely a smaller crowd because of it, but I don't think it plays as big of a part as fans like to give it credit for. I think it's just the fact that Bristol, for the last 10 years or so, hasn't put on as good of racing, because I think the side-by-side racing wasn't bad. It was just not Bristol when it comes to good, and I think that's what's more to do with a part of it. That and just the general downsizing of the sport the last decade and a half. I know weather probably kept around 5,000 to 10,000 people away, but I don't think it would have kept more than 30% of the people who would have shown up away.
I know I got at least 2 comments that I saw from this last week in New Hampshire that they straight up did not go because of threat of rain, that they live in the area. So I don't know how often. I think a race that only has 30,000 people there maybe would have gotten 50. It depends on the rain. Like Bristol, it snowed almost, or it was icy, it was rainy, it was postponed and everything, and they had probably 10,000 people at most in that crowd. There was nobody there.
I think day to day is different. Yeah,
I think it's very the same. Yeah.
Also,
I
really quick,
same day, not really.
And also, shout out to NTSC4. I thought that was a fake account for a second. What's up, man? And also, you've made it when someone makes the fake account of your second channel.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, how many of really quick before we go into our picks, how many of us in here have seen Carnation's news stories about us?
Oh, they're awesome.
I'll have to go look at them.
It's something.
His birthday.
Yours won't surprise you much. Actually, none of them really will surprise you much. But
if he calls me Bob Ross, son of a...
he's not the only one. Come on, everyone calls you that.
I know, but
hey, I got the iceberg melting meme on me. It's
the iceberg that sunk the Titanic.
That Photoshop is funny.
Yeah, the Photoshop's really good. I look like one of those Star Wars things that has the eyes on the side and they move around and stuff. That's what I look like in it.
I'm John Derry, so that beats them all, pretty much.
No,
I'm always gonna beat them all.
I'm Danny B. Fick, so
yeah.
Oh, I love if people in the chat haven't seen it, you all got to see full podcast. That thing that Eric Kepler put up.
That was good.
That was beautiful.
Classic May.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Oh, so I was just about to say, so really quick, I guess, before we get to our picks and stuff, I don't know if this is cool with you guys. A lot of people wanted me to address a certain someone on Sunday called just knows who I am now.
Let's keep that out of it.
Okay,
yeah, no, let's not talk about that.
I just wanted to say it's nothing personal and stuff. I just disagree with her on a certain topic. So you guys know who the YouTuber I'm talking about, and that's it.
Bobby Allison has already come on. Once the stream ends up processing and everything, which, by the way, I do have to add it to the playlist, but you'll be able to see its first 10 minutes. Then you get to hear race cars and him be like, yeah, I got to go.
Hey, he said at least he tried.
Still a great experience. And the guests
Great
that we have
guy.
the guests that we have in the future here, which there will be more guests, I promise.
A lot more guests. A lot
They
more.
we're going to hopefully have it figured out where they can actually be on the Google Hangout with us.
Most of the people we have on the podcast have internet access, but not all of them.
Bobby grew up in the era where it was better for a phone call, so.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that might not have been a bad thing.
Oh, no,
Why has society betrayed us?
Pretty much.
Get it together, people.
So I guess might as well get into our picks for this week at Pocono. Maybe I think the race is going to be a lot better than what people think.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's going to be all single file and stuff, but I mean, obviously, like let's not kid ourselves. One of the big three is going to win. So I mean, I'd go with Truex. He's just going to sweep the whole thing again at this point.
Well, do we want to? You're getting ahead of yourself there. Do we want to talk about people who are going to underperform first, or?
Yeah, let's talk about this.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot. We had those picks too. I totally forgot.
Get with it, man. God.
See, I'm turning into Jarrett now. Getting all senile.
I'll start because I know my underdog right away. Wait, we're starting with underdogs, right?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, I know my underdog. And now he was riding a little bit of a hot streak, at least by him and his team standards, going into New Hampshire. I don't remember where he finished in New Hampshire, but I don't think it was great. I think it was mediocre, probably. But I know he'd been qualifying better lately. Been running a little better, around 10th-ish, and he's on that playoff bubble, and he's got a history of being pretty decent at the big flat tracks, not to mention that the car he's currently driving won at this track last year.
I know where you're going.
My underdog for this week is Paul Menard. I think he finished 11th at the race here a few weeks ago. I looked at it like 3 hours ago briefly, so I'm going with Paul Menard. He's my sleeper.
And going off of Eric, that's exactly who I was going to go with for my underdog is Paul Menard. He did get 11th here earlier in the year. The 21 team has got a win here before. Really, all of the Penske cars for the most part ran fairly well here earlier this year, and Paul's definitely been improving. I could definitely see Paul Menard being in contention for a top 10 or maybe even a top 5.
You of all people should remember what happens when everyone starts agreeing with stuff, man. No, I'm actually, for my underdog, I'm going to pick somebody who's won here and is good, but recently hasn't been so good in the series this summer. I'll go with Blaney. I think that this is where he sort of, for sure, puts a stop to it, to the skid. Even though the last few weeks have been a bit better, I think that this continues that upswing, and I think he'll be up in contention. Now watch me be completely wrong.
Well, I mean, I would definitely like to see him start to gain momentum because definitely we're a few weeks away from Bristol, which is where I see the bubble really going good for him. So,
well, it's like I think everyone outside the big three at this point is an underdog, realistically.
Honestly, yeah.
And I guess so. There you go.
I mean, pretty much most of the panel pretty much was. Thinking the same way I was. Yeah, Menard, he's right there. Maybe a couple good runs here and there. He'll be in the playoffs. He needs a little help from Bowman and Stenhouse just to, one of those guys has a bad day. One of those guys starts struggling because we only have 6 races left before the playoffs. So it's right around the corner.
I'll also say this. We might want to keep an eye out for Menard when we get closer to Watkins Glen because he's low-key a good road course racer.
Yeah, he's underrated. He's very underrated, so we definitely got to keep an eye out for him there. But I could see Menard, honestly, with the right strategy and stuff, and, if things go his way, I could see him getting a top 5 finish. Top 10 easily, but a top 5, that would really be something.
All right, so let's move on to our picks, I guess.
No, suckers. We got to get the suckers.
Who's gonna suck?
People are gonna freak at mine.
I actually don't have a pick for this. I can decide.
I'm gonna go with the guy all over my stuff here, Nationwide Car Bowman. I don't think it's gonna be a good week.
He's been consistently running 30th to 37th, as Jared Edwards eloquently put.
Not necessarily that.
See what's funny is you roboted there, so that went even longer than before. You roboted on my end, so it was really funny. No, I'll go with my sucker really quick then. I'm going to go with this person because they're always hit or miss at Pocono. They're one of the big three. And that's not because I don't like the person. It's because, well, maybe because I don't like them, I've noticed. I'm going with Kyle Busch. Like, Kyle Busch is very hit or miss at Pocono.
Kyle Busch, who won this race last year?
Yeah, he'll win a race one year, run out of fuel on the last lap and not finish the last lap another year, crash on the first 20 laps a few times, but then also win a race at the other part of it. And he was up front for most of the first one. I just feel like if there's no one really who's shocking to say would be back there. So, like what am I going to say? Bubba's going to suck again? Well, that's a given. I mean, you look at that team. I'll go with Kyle Busch on it. I'll go and go out on a limb, and worst things worst, I get Darian trash talking, and that's nothing new either.
Come on, I don't trash talk all the time.
No, you trash talk extra time.
Okay, well, I guess the guy I see struggling this week. At first I was gonna say Byron, but I mean, he just seems like he struggles every week, anyways. And I was gonna say Larson, but I don't know. I mean, he is on my fantasy team this week, and he did finish second. So I don't know if I really want to. I don't know. Like, I would like to think nothing's gonna happen to him, but maybe. So I guess my final pick is for a person to struggle this week, Joey Logano. He'll run into problems this week, I feel like.
There's a fake iceberg in the chat right now.
Oh, boy.
How the hell is it that people can't, and that's not a swear, by the way. How the hell is it that people can't spell iceberg right and they always put a U in it?
Now we're just waiting for fake Danny B Talks and it'll be complete.
Oh, yeah, you're the only one who doesn't have a fake account, do you?
They'll put Danny C Talks.
Danny Thick Talks.
that fake,
No, they'll put Danny B Thick.
That fake, the fake Black Flags Matter channel didn't have any videos. This fake iceberg actually does have some videos.
Oh, great. What are they like?
They have more views than mine.
There's huge live stream / left turn productions 1 month ago. That was 31 seconds. There was a 23 minute 21 second. Let's play some PUBG.
This guy doesn't need any extra promotion. I think he's getting it from the chat.
Yeah.
Hey, we even got Jeff Green.
But he admits that he's fake.
Yeah.
My struggle pick. I just thought of it while I was here, and I don't really know. I don't know how he did it, Pocono. I can't even recall any of his past Pocono stats. He might be better here than I'm thinking, but I'm gonna say Ricky Stenhouse Jr. sucks. He's wrecked in 3 straight races. The pressure of being on the playoff bubble and being the only car in your team that has a chance of making the playoffs has got to him. I think he's going to continue to struggle and make some sort of mistake and ruin his chance of a top 10 this weekend again. I think Stenhouse will continue to struggle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did I lose you?
He's nothing really special at Pocono, anyways. It's pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
All right. So for actual picks here, Darian, I want us to do this together. All right. 3, 2, 1.
Truex. Yep. Truex. He's going to sweep the whole weekend. I don't think he's going to dominate.
Wait,
though.
sweep the whole weekend. He's not sweeping a weekend.
I'm sorry. He's going to sweep both Pocono races. My fault.
Yeah.
He's going to sweep both races.
I
don't think he's going to dominate, though.
If he does this, he'll be the first driver since Dale Jr. to do that. So.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna. Well, no, here we go. All up to this point, I've been 50-50. I wasn't sure who I was going to pick. It was between Truex or this other pick. But since you both said Truex, I'm pitching that one. Truex is going to wreck. That's my new prediction. But my pick to win this race, and it's really a bad idea for me to not go with a big 3 driver. I know every race that hasn't been a restrictor plate has been won by a big 3 driver or Boyer. Boyer could be a good pick this weekend. Don't sleep on Clint Boyer. Just going to say that.
That's right.
I'm going to go with Kyle Larson. And I know a few of you guys in the chat, you thought you picked him as your struggle pick. I don't really know why. He finished second here just a few weeks ago. I mean, I don't know that he's necessarily going to be head and shoulders better than that or better than anybody else, but if he's got top 5 speed, anything can happen. I think it's fair to say that Truex is probably going to lead the most laps. I'll even admit that, but I think Larson will find a way to get it.
Oh, yeah, that race was a few weeks ago, technically.
It was like a month and a half ago.
They're so close together.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I want to ask Danny something.
He's
there? Oh, damn, he's not there.
Wait, what
We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait for Danny
What?
What
because
What are
this
you
is
gonna
part
ask
of my
him?
thing.
Danny.
Nothing important. Jeez. Danny boy, oh Danny boy, where have you gone?
Man.
But
Thank
I
God.
want to
Wait.
ask him to reminisce.
Is Derek Cope racing this weekend? Someone said he'll struggle. I thought it was Weatherman, that Weatherman guy.
See, it's like right as I like look over, not realizing for a bit, and then I look back and Danny's gone. I'm like, I want to talk to Danny. We can't have
Yeah,
nice
just-
things in life.
I need Danny.
IDK, give me his phone number. Not in the chat.
If we prank call him again, he'll probably quit.
Jeff Green just gave 2 and asked what happened to Ricky Allen. They stuck him on pit road where he belongs.
Busch.
I'm kidding. I
Busch looking. Busch.
I made that horrible meme like in the second week we did this. I don't want to even think back to anything having to do with
It's
that.
like he does this on purpose. There's so many memes, and he just created another one.
I didn't,
Well,
I didn't
and
hate that one. That was funny. I'll take it.
Well, and the
still
funny
a
thing
meme.
is that the funny thing is like his kids, since they're on YouTube and watch NASCAR stuff a lot, they might be watching us, and they'll probably show him this, and they'll get self-conscious about this too.
No, I like you, Ricky Allen. I love you for
I like him
memes.
too.
We do like him, especially when you did the truck series. That was you were awesome in
Oh
that.
God, please go back, please.
Oh, no,
Yes.
I like him in the cup. I like him in the cup.
No, but the
No,
truck-
get Alan Bestwick in Cup, and we can get the trucks to actually have somebody who's
I can't-
talented in the booth.
I can't watch
Vince
the
Welch.
trucks.
I can't stand him.
I can't watch him because Michael Waltrip and Vince Welch are. I just
Seriously, like Vince Welch sounds like. Oh, thank you, IDK. Vince Welch sounds like he's constipated. He's like, and around the corner he goes. Look at him go through the corner, Christopher Bell.
And he has such slow
Seriously.
reactions. Like there'll be a great finish on the last lap, and like they're coming out of turn 4 and coming to the line, and then I don't know.
No,
like,
this is him. He's like, and looking. Craven beats Busch to the line.
I'm like,
Oh wait,
what?
that was 15 years ago.
go
What just happened? I'm like, what just happened?
white flag in the air, and then we'll wait 30 seconds, and Kyle Busch wins. It's like you know, the same between.
I'm just waiting for one of them where he's like,
It's like
and there he goes through 3. Wait, everyone left the track. Oh wow, I can actually talk again.
it's like if nothing exciting's happening on the final lap of like a truck race, let's say Johnny Sauter's just pulling away by 2 seconds. He'll say white flag sponsored by Credit One Bank, and then he won't say anything. He'll just be silent the entire lap, and then he'll say and for the win. I'm like, what?
Well, it's better. It's better than like if Joe Buck were announcing it, like how he does with the NFL. Elliott breaks the tackle. Elliott. Can you imagine that? Like the last lap around, Busch. And in he goes. He wins the race. That's how that like.
He's
that could
in
be
4.
worse.
Now he's in 1. He's in 2.
He
He's
goes
in 3.
down low, protecting his 18-second lead.
That'd be great.
That-
I'd love to see a crossover like that. You get Joe Buck to do a NASCAR race. You put Mike Joy in the Fox NFL booth. You know, I'd love it.
Oh, I'd love Mike Joy being in there because he might not like be as good at his racing, but it'd still be an upgrade over Joe Buck.
I would rather have Bill Weber back doing the truck race.
I actually, unpopular opinion, I actually like Bill Weber in the booth.
I do too, to a certain extent, but like him replacing Alan Bestwick, no, I didn't like that. But
Well, and then you got
I
Michael
like
Waltrip. He always talking like, all about this stuff, and then everyone knows that he doesn't know anything about anything in the last 20 years.
I feel
I'm
like
back.
Michael Waltrip's voice always sounds muffled in the truck race.
Hey,
it sounds
there
like he's
you go.
talking from over here.
Oh,
I don't know.
okay,
Anyway.
okay, we're back. Okay, Danny.
So what did you want to ask me?
I wanted to ask you something. Do you remember the first few weeks we did this when it was just you and me?
Mhm.
Just, do you remember a certain meme we had back then?
The good times of the show.
Yeah.
I
Remember
wasn't
that?
even there. I don't
Do you-
even remember.
Me neither.
Yeah. But Danny, do you remember a certain meme we had the first 3 or 4 weeks?
I mean, are you talking about how, Monster Energy just expects us to just be drinking all their products just because they're sponsoring us? Because that's not going to happen.
No, a different one. A different one.
A
What a
different
meme.
one. No, I don't.
Okay. So every week I would pick a certain driver, and then the week I didn't, the certain driver won, and I realized that was a dumb decision, and so I picked that certain driver again, and they won. Do you remember who that certain driver was?
It was that certain driver that I picked last week that won.
You've revived the meme for me. I'm picking Harvick because for some reason he likes to double up with wins.
You know,
Danny, congratulations. You've revived a dead meme. You've revived the Harambe of NASCAR memes.
If it wasn't for the fact that I just wanted to go with Truex for this one, I would go with Harvick again because he was actually my preseason pick for this race.
But yeah,
sorry, I was just laughing at something in the comments.
I'm going with Harvick because I went to Stupidville last week. Wait, what?
Somebody in the chat.
Like, honest question: do you guys like Monster Energy? I can't stand that drink.
I haven't drank an energy drink in 10 years.
I've never had an energy drink, so I don't even know what it tastes like.
Keep it that way.
Yeah, I don't drink it. I don't like. I've only drunk them like rarely. Rarely do I ever drink them. I haven't drank one in like 2 years, but I mean, I've sipped the Monster, and it is just bad. You guys are crazy if you actually like that stuff.
I do have a Monster if it is like something where I'm going to be driving back. Like if I go to the Bristol night race, I ain't got a place to stay. I'm going to drive home. Then yeah, I'll have a Monster then.
Amp is Mountain Dew with more sugar.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, I will say this. I never really liked the taste of Amp that much. Even if they did sponsor Dell Jr., I wasn't a fan.
I drank 2 amps on the way up to a Viking game. So by the time we got there, I'm like, oh boy, here we are. Oh, Minneapolis. Oh boy. And then because I was like 12, it's like 5 o'clock at night.
I did have a Red Bull for the first time the other day, and it wasn't too bad. And Red Bull is like in a smaller portion compared to a Monster. So
NOS is where it's at.
What the heck is wrong with you, man? Jeez.
What happened?
Your NASCAR Red Panda's blind. He says the girls are so annoying for, I assume, Monster. It's like, how did you find this video? You must be blind. How did you find it?
Come on.
Honest question.
Come on now.
Honest.
NOS is where it's at, though.
I've noticed that.
And also, I will say that Kyle Busch one he had, that was pretty good. Like his drink or whatever. I still remember the commercials from last year. He's like
Kyle Busch. I know I've been giving him too much hate. That reveal he did for the paint scheme, best one yet.
Yes,
best one. That was very good. Very good.
Ernie Irvan. I'm glad he's doing that. You know, the Ernie Irvan throwback one.
I know somebody I saw one of them where it was like Ernie Irvan. I thought he was dead.
No, like, he nearly died though. He nearly died though. You know, unfortunately, but.
Yeah, but it's like someone's like, I didn't even know he was alive. Like someone is like, for like 15 years, I thought he was dead. It's like,
no, it's just really good CGI, I guess.
It's crazy. Like I don't know. I don't know if this is messed up to laugh at that, but like, oh, I thought he was dead for 15 years, and now he's dead. I don't know.
No, Ernie Irvan is alive and well.
And I will agree with what Nick says. Ernie Irvan is underrated. You know, he had the hard job, you know, had the difficult task of taking over for Davey Allison and stuff, had some big shoes to fill. He would have won the championship, I feel like. He was leading the Cup Series points up to his Michigan practice accident, which honestly, it's still a miracle to this day he even survived. There was only like a 10 or 20% chance he would live, you know, that he was going to live, you know, survive from that accident. So, you know, you know, just everything he accomplished after that was just a blessing. I think he had like 18, 19 career wins, something like that, or 13. But, you know,
I'm glad he's back in, you know, in the spotlight in the sport in a way. I think that's something that a lot of younger fans can learn about, somebody who they don't talk about much anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, I do like that.
Oh my God, yeah.
I would like to see a Kenny Irwin Jr. throwback, though, for the 42. I would like to see that. Oh, and also at the end of the stream.
I don't know if you didn't miss him, but you missed Bobby. Bobby was on the first 10 minutes. We have to keep doing this. Like, I feel like people have watched like the whole thing, or it's gonna be like, for the love of God, you've said it already.
Hey, we have to, guys. I mean,
it's like, yeah, Bobby's been asking. On.
Yeah,
because you never know. Bobby's been on. You never know who's gonna pop in at what time, so we just have to remind people.
And also, I guess really quick at the end of the stream, I'll reveal to you guys my throwback stream, my throwback shirt for the throwback stream we're gonna have in a couple
Well,
of weeks. So
actually,
stay tuned for that.
we're pretty much here at the end of it. So.
Oh, well, I'll go get it
We're
now.
just gonna we just do like a quick Q&A and then do our outros.
Yeah. I think for people who just joined, let's go over what are our picks again. I said Larson for this week.
I said Truex, but I do want to keep a
Truex.
close eye on Harvick because I definitely feel like Harvick could get back to back. But I am going to go with Truex.
Harvick, bring back the meme.
So really quick, guys. You guys, some of you guys, I showed you guys already. You guys already know. So some of you guys know. You guys already know. I did a video, tribute video on Adam Petty and stuff, and I was looking at some throwback shirts, and I found a pretty nice one. All four generation Petty shirt has Lee Petty, 3-time champion, Richard Petty, 200 wins, 7+ championships, Kyle Petty, 8 wins. That's still a respectable career, and then also the late Adam Petty as well. And also, this is also another pretty cool thing about it too. Like, I like the images on here too. Their images and also their signatures as well and stuff too. Especially, I do like the Adam one smiling and stuff. Smiling on the shirt. He definitely did smile a lot.
His smile does really look like Richard's.
Oh yeah, pretty much. So I'll be wearing that for the throwback stream. Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I like that.
Thank you.
I got to figure out my throwback attire. I haven't done that yet.
Maybe I'll wear the helmet that's somewhere past the camera that I can't remember. Maybe
Are you still growing out a goatee for the throwback one, Jarrett? Like a junior for junior?
I don't know. Maybe. Who knows?
Okay.
Well, I'll know when we get there. What else we got? And we got anything cool in the chat to talk about? Because if not, then we're going to start our 20 minutes of outros.
There is finally a fake me.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Nice. You haven't made it.
I don't know how many times I've seen fake Erics before, so
you haven't made it until you got fake accounts of yourself, of your own channel. So you haven't made it until you got that. I mean, I have fake accounts of my my second channel, which I haven't even really paid any attention to be honest. So I'm a little surprised by that. But yeah,
I'm gonna show up with a full beard as a throwback. That'll be my. And I'll talk about that later. Runnings. But yeah.
Quick thing here before it goes away in the chat and I forget all about it. So it's not been confirmed yet, but there is a strong rumor that there could soon be, between this year and next year, some 1/64 scale Truck Series diecast that could come out in the near future.
That would be cool.
They decide to do that now? I was waiting for that when I was little. You guys finally decide to do it now. Not during your peak of your popularity. But...
It hasn't been confirmed yet. It's just a strong rumor out there right now.
Okay, fine.
Are we going to talk about the fact that we're going to talk about the fact that Brian France basically was like trolled you on Sirius?
I didn't hear it, but I just read some of the quotes.
I don't even listen to what he says. He's just a fly on the wall. I don't like anything he says. I cannot take seriously. There's a new meme. The France family is totally lock and loaded to NASCAR. Now that's a new meme, I guess, associated with Brian France. But I swear.
I just imagine Steve Carell going, "No, God, no! Oh, God, no, please!"
Ugh.
Someone put in chat, Darian is getting drunk.
Yeah.
No, just a few minutes, you will.
I've been drunk for the whole stream, if you haven't noticed.
Do a drunk stream, like just a complete wasted stream.
That'll be after the championship we do that.
Probably. Hey, I might do an ARCA stream tomorrow, but the race is at 1:00 here, so I don't know if any of you guys would be able to hop on. So
1:00.
I might do that.
Your time would be 3:00 mine. So
won't be available this weekend at all. So
yeah, so I might just have to do it on my own.
I'll tell you guys after the stream. I talked to IDK Player about something funny for one of his streams that I think we all could get in on. So I'll tell you guys afterwards.
If it's another prank call to Danny B, I don't want to hear anything about it.
No, but
come on, Danny.
No, it's not a prank call. But by the way, he gave me your number.
He
sent me your number. So
come on, Danny. You have to admit that was pretty funny, though. That's pretty good. It was so believable. And also seed games too. He's not innocent either. We got seed games pretty good.
No. And then when IDK called me, and the first thing I'm like, what's the prank call for? He's like, you ruined my mood.
Yeah, like
he sounded like the octopus that inked in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of pointless to prank call you. I mean, you were there for both of them. You kind of, I mean, if IDK ever calls me and stuff, that's what I'm gonna assume first. Is this is a prank.
Yeah, I mean, if he ever needs to contact me again, it's like Boy Who Cried Wolf at this point. So
he's actually gonna call with something wrong. It's like, oh my god, like Darian got into a car accident and he's like barely alive, and oh whatever, that's really funny.
I'll be like, dude, that's not funny. Bye.
So
yeah, and then to find out later, it's like he's pronounced dead. It's like, oh, he actually wasn't lying for once.
Okay, well now this is a very sad way to end the stream. So
a lot of people, they were asking my thoughts on Bubba. I was kind of saving that for the end. You know what? It's funny. I actually got this Bubba Wallace T-shirt, or my mom got it for me as one of my birthday presents. That was really nice of her to buy me 2 shirts. Well, actually 3. I bought a racetrack shirt for the South Point 400 race. This coming September at the racetrack, and then I get home, I go on Twitter, and Richard Petty's like, "Oh yeah, he'll be back next year." I'm just like, "Oh my gosh!" Like, I don't know. Don't expect any miracles to happen. Right now it's hopeless. Sorry to say that, it's pretty hopeless right now. Richard Petty, I'm gonna be blunt. They suck the life out of drivers. Look at Eric Almirola. Hell, even you can go all the way back to John Andretti. Like, he won. He did win a race for them and stuff, and he was pretty decent, but they sucked the life out of him. Kyle Petty, that's pretty self-explanatory. And also, I don't know if you guys didn't know this, but there was this dude named Chad McCumbee who was supposed to race full-time for them, and he actually did pretty good in some of his starts for them in 08, but then the whole team merger happened, and it pretty much ended his career. And AJ Allmendinger, that's one as well, but most notably Eric Almirola, and look what he's doing now. So, Bubba fans, I hate to tell you this, I apologize, but the only way I see him making the playoffs is if he gets some kind of super upset win at
look at
those plate tracks. So maybe Bristol too, but we all know who his crew chief is, Drew Blickensderfer. So there is no way with him they're gonna really accomplish anything. In my opinion.
Really quick, or should we bring up Darian's other bit of controversy on YouTube this week?
I was going to do that. Wait, I was going to do that earlier, but you guys said no.
No, we were talking about the Twitter stuff. No, I'm talking about.
No, I was talking about.
Yeah, because we had to move on to other stuff.
Well, no. Oh, I was talking about. I was saying urinating tree. I was talking about Ultimate Dragon. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Not the Twitter stuff.
That was so cringe.
I'm gonna do an impersonation of her.
God!
Please, I'm asking you, don't do that. I don't
want
like.
Ever heard of a YouTuber by the name of Black Flags Matter? In fact, I have. I can't do it.
Is it safe to put the earbuds back in?
Yes. Yeah, you're good.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
Well, I guess my comment on that was, I was like, you know what? I think I've made it now. I think I've made it. She knows who I am. One of the biggest trolls, in my opinion, either biggest trolls or biggest, memes in the NASCAR YouTube community, knows who I am and stuff. And she's actually watched a few of my videos, so I appreciate that. I'm not subscribed to her, though. I'm sure she's not subscribed to me either. There's no way I'm subscribed to her channel. But, I mean, I did say it was nothing personal. I mean, I just didn't agree with, comparing the deaths of 2 different drivers and stuff. In one of the videos series she did, she compared, Kevin Grubb's situation to Jeremy Mayfield's, and there was like a so-called similar pattern. And honestly, I thought that was out of line. I was like, look, you're not a mental health expert. You're not one on that. I feel like who are you to judge, someone's, what they're going through and all that stuff too. If you know the whole story between those two, 2 totally different situations, in my opinion, way totally different situations. I thought that was out of line. I don't know. I think she only did that honestly for more views and to make her series a little more interesting. But it's nothing personal. I don't I don't like. I'm quite sure in real life she's probably really nice, but yeah, I just that's one thing I just don't agree with. So.
Well, on that note, I guess we should start wrapping it all up now. I'll let you guys go first. I'll go last this week.
I'll go ahead and start off here. My name is Danny from Danny B Talks. Apparently I'm supposed to give Rusty Walrus my hair. If you're not subscribed to me, go subscribe to me right now. If you don't, then the podcast is canceled forever. Okay, bye.
Which podcast? Speak for yourself. No, I was kidding. Well, this is honestly probably the best birthday of all time, in my opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight's podcast, and huge thanks to Bobby Allison. I thought it was really funny, having the cars go by and stuff like that, and we could barely hear him. And then at the end, he was like, sorry guys, I tried, but thanks for having me on. No, that was hilarious. I thought that just sealed the deal. So yeah, we have that. I just wanted to say, I'm not going to go into, full details and stuff, this, just this whole YouTube community and just me starting up this channel really put me back on the right path, just in life in general. I might go into a little more detail on that on the 1 year anniversary stream on my channel once I get my streaming capabilities back. So I'll go into full detail, but this channel helped put me back on the right track, and just I'm really in a blessed position to have my opinion heard by basically the whole world. I think like 4 or 5% of my audience, or 10%, is like from Canada and stuff, and that's pretty crazy. So people in Canada watch my videos. So I definitely got to do something on a Canadian driver pretty soon, or maybe do a good seasons or a championship seasons on that Canadian series. I forget what it's called. So definitely shout you guys out.
Thanks for super chat there, Griff Dog, for $5.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Griff Dog. And I guess the final thing I want to say is, look, I don't care if it offends anyone or whatever, something like that. I'm always going to say my opinion, and you can either agree or disagree with it. So that's all I'm going to say. And once again, thank you guys so much for watching on my birthday. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.
And then I'm the Iceberg, so go subscribe to my channel as well, because remember, when I hit 1,000, I get to torture myself with a 50 Shades of Grey reaction. Yay me. Tears into the darkness. Anyway,
what a great
follow
movie.
Me on Twitter. Yeah. You can also follow me on Twitter at IceTitan80. And then I want to thank everybody for coming out again, for over 300 likes as well. And then a big thank you, I know he's probably not watching right now, but to Mr. Allison for coming on, even for that short little bit. Awesome person to talk to, and really, really just a kind person. If any of you get the chance to meet him, it's just amazing person. That's all I can really say. He didn't have to take the time to do this, and he did. And when you guys get the chance who haven't seen it, go watch the first 10 minutes or so, and you can sort of see for yourself. So until next week, I don't know what channel we'll be on, because I think we were scheduling it to be on Darian's, but
we can always do my second channel, but I doubt that.
I don't know. We'll pick something, but yeah. Anyway, thanks all for watching, and I'll see you next week. I think so. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, thanks again, everyone, for watching. And again, big thank you to Bobby Allison. We knew it was going to be tough with his schedule to fit some time in, but we really appreciate him taking the time to stop by and chat about some of the old days of NASCAR, give a little bit of his opinions on the current state of NASCAR. I think that was interesting. So if you missed it, definitely go back and check that out. Probably about an hour or two, and this video fully uploads, and you can go do that. But I'm Eric. This is on my channel this week. Go subscribe to all of these guys. Their links to their channels are all down below. You should be subscribed to all of us. So if you're watching this podcast and you like what you see, make sure you subscribe to these guys. Ring that bell, whatever the deal is, just so you can always know when the stream is going live. You can follow me on Twitter at Dex Racing, or on Instagram, Eric Estepp. What have I done this week? I've uploaded W Cup Series. Dex Tournament of Champions Race 2 was just the other day, so you can go check that out if you missed it. And I'll have more videos, more Out of the Grooves this weekend. I'm moving all around. This is like the third new location I've been in this week, so it's going to be a lot of changes next few weeks. But hopefully, then things will start to settle back down. I can start to churn out more and more content and better content than ever before. That's my goal, and I'm excited to see where this podcast goes as well, because you get Bobby Allison on your stream, people start to take notice. So we'll see. Hopefully this opens the door to some bigger and some other big, great guests. We've had a lot of awesome people on already. It is really impressive to see where this has come. I've only been a part of this for about 3-4 months now. These guys, y'all, Jared, Danny have been working on this thing for more than 6 months. It's impressive how far this has come in such a short amount of time, and pretty much all of that is due to all you guys who stay at home and watch. We had over 200 people watching pretty much all night, over 300 likes. Numbers are blowing my mind. So thank you, everyone. I know I speak for everyone. I say thank you so much for making this happen every week, and we'll see you next time. So yeah, have a good evening, everyone. Have a good weekend. We'll be back next week. See you guys.